What's up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going? I'm the Celtic Warrior, Sheamus.
Wardlow here.
Soda.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Welcome to my birthday! And welcome to the dive bar of the IWC for a brand new episode 1. It's great. It's time for a drink with your drinking buddies on Wrestling on the Rocks, where every show is our first show and every day is my birthday of all days. And now here's your host. Oh my god. I pulled up the script. I forgot how funny it was. Oh. Guys, thank you for coming to the dive bar of the IWC for a brand new episode 1. It's where every show is our first show because we can't get to episode 2 till we get to episode 1. And if we don't even do an episode 1, we can't do an episode 2. So here we are, the deuces, deucing on ya with me, Marsh, to deuce it up. Let's start with the OG here. Who's that? What's that? What we got over here? Kevlar? What's going on, man?
Not much. How you been? How's the IWC been?
IWC has been a fucking nightmare, dude.
Speaking of,
they're fucking falling to pieces. Cheers to Just in Time coming through. And with me today, also Bishop. We got Bishop from Terrible Wrestling Takes because we can't just be sitting here, me and Kevlar, spitting out all these fucking badass, great takes all day long. Like, we need something to balance us out. Somebody give us some shit ass, terrible wrestling takes. You know what I mean? So we bring in Bishop.
I think we've known each other for about 4 years now, and I am the arbiter of terrible wrestling takes. I decide which takes are terrible. It's not the takes that I have that are terrible. You never remember that for some reason. It's as if it's the first episode every time I come on here.
Yeah, I just start fresh.
Yeah. But if you want to listen to a show that doesn't really get recorded, go to twtakes.podcast.com and find your platform, and you will hear some amazing Terrible Wrestling Takes episodes.
No. Oh yeah. Oh, they're there. And Justin Time's in the chat saying cheers. Cheers to Justin Time.
Cheers.
Let's start with, since we're doing some cheers, we'll start real quick. We'll go with Kevlar. Kevlar, what's in your glass? What are you drinking?
I'm
Nothing
drinking
now.
No, it's just an empty fucking glass. I just saw that. I was like, but that's why I said we got to hit it while we can. We're not gonna have an answer in a minute.
That was a long fucking intro. Anyways, I got a Four Peaks variety pack from Phoenix. Hot Mat,
nice.
This is their Guilt Lifter.
Guilt
Next
Lifter.
is Hot Mat IPA.
Yeah, it's a classic. Right before we left, we were up in Phoenix for something, and we ended up going to the brewery there. And their brewery is badass out there. And food was incredible, and they had a few beers that they're like limited just to the brewery.
Yeah.
And we had a couple there that were really they were good. It's one of our favorite, especially if you're from Arizona.
Yeah.
Bishop, what's in your glass? What are you drinking over there?
A little strawberry watermelon Zoe.
Oh,
And just water. I got a headache, so I need some caffeine and some water, to hydrate. Other than that, no, I'm not drinking. So if you want to, you can spit out your camera at me.
we'll see what happens. We'll see if I spit on my camera. I got to pull out my koozie so I can put it back in my koozie.
Hey, Marsh, what's in your glass?
I'm living over here in the ABQ, as it were, and I'm having, because it's in season, green chili cerveza from New Mexico. It's a green chili beer. It's green chili season out here, dude.
Sounds like a
Green chili
breakfast
beer.
beer.
I don't know that I've had a beer that I don't approve for breakfast, if I'm honest. Plus, Kev, you got kids. All beer is breakfast beer. As soon as the kid jumps on your bed, you're like, all right, bring me a beer. Let's get ready for school.
Or mimosas, Bloody Marys, you name it.
Yeah, it's hatch season right now. I just roasted my own hatch green chilies, and we've been putting it on stuff, and it's in season. And I thought I'll try a green chili beer too. Let's go all in. I'm not gonna just hatch halfway. I'm not gonna hatchway it. You know what I mean? I got to go full hatch.
Yeah. When you hatch, you got a full hatch.
I got full hatch, dude.
Yeah. You can't part hatch it.
No, you can't just
Hatch
get dilly dally. You know what I mean? I'll get it. So we decided we should come back and talk and do some shit shooting.
Yeah.
News do. Because SummerSlam happened, dude. There was a big build-up. You and I talked about it a little bit on the way up to it, Bishop. There was a few things we were excited about, a few things we were really unsure about. But it happened, and then we've had Raw since then, and I thought, actually you thought, let's get in there and let's dig it apart. So we're going to go down the line a little bit. We might jump around here and there. But I figure unless there's something newsy that you want to talk about, I think we start from SummerSlam.
We're gonna house paint this bitch.
Jump around. I wish I had a better poll so I could just say some obscure song that they have, because they had at least like another one.
Yeah.
No, the only thing I saw the rumblings was the Lucha Brothers not returning to AEW. And I just love the tribalism that happens. It's like, well, they're not fucking that good anyway. It's like, well, not really when you want to say that they were like the greatest tag team of all time for anything they did against the Young Bucks. You know what I mean? Like, it's just weird.
Yeah, it's bullshit. I do think, and this is just true for a lot more talent than people are willing to just outright accept. They just weren't booked very well there. I think they're reasonably talented, and then I remember seeing them in Lucha Underground and thinking these guys are fucking incredible. And I remember thinking, oh man, Penta's dangerous. He's hurting people. I was so worked by that fucking arm thing he did. And then in AEW, I was like, they're solid, but they're a little goofy, and I don't know what's going on. Like, and I just really lost interest in most of AEW. But that is all to lead up to. Then I go to a AAA show in Tempe, and in the main event is Penta. And he comes out there and he's got like Joker gear on and stuff. And I couldn't believe, dude, that place went fucking nuts for him. He's huge in AAA. Like, I can't imagine that there's any reason for him to stay in AEW if he just wants to keep being a big star in Mexico. You know? They're not doing anything for him. No one was in there in AEW Penta shirts.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I wonder if that's how Okada feels.
I think Okada just wants that big paycheck to retire. I don't think he wants to work all that much.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
Just everything I've seen him do over there is kind of against everything he's ever said he wanted to be. You know what I mean?
America
he was
changes
just being there, right?
I thought it was just WWE that changes people.
It's IWC talking right there.
Yeah, that's IWC right there, dude.
It's just ironic. I mean, like we've talked about it a million times. Like, talent's talent,
Mhm.
But if Roman Reigns went to AEW, there's no such thing as a tribal chief, right? Like, it just doesn't go that way, and that's something that those fanatics, those throaters, if you will, should just be honest about. The fucking everything Mercedes is doing is not good. But how awesome was Sasha Banks, right? With the flaws. She had the same flaws as she does now. It's the presentation is just so it's just bad. It's bad. It's like a god complex without execution, right? Like it's really weird.
Well, I also think it's the talent she's working with as well.
Okay. So I think I agree to both sides. I don't think the talent she's working with helps at all. But I think that there's a massive ego there that is just on full ass display. I remember talking about it. I think I talked about it with Digi and Amanda on Thursdays. She wanted to set these precedences, and she wanted to do something that's never been done, and she wanted to have the single biggest contract that any woman's ever had in wrestling. And from what I've heard, and I don't know, it's very possible she does have the single biggest payout contract for any woman in the history of wrestling. Doesn't mean anything if what you're putting out is not liked, or you're not doing the things on the levels that Becky's doing. Becky might make $1 million less than you a year. Becky's a bigger star, and she's going to make more than $1 million on the merch because people want it all. You know what I mean? Like, I think that she thinks trailblazing is just accomplishing the thing, and not actually what does it mean and what does execution look like, right? She didn't set the bar, meaning that the next person can hit that. She held someone up and got it. That doesn't mean the next talent that's available is going to get her money. You know what I mean? Like, she didn't trailblaze. She blackmailed.
She didn't.
She's blackmail, but
she didn't open doors for other people to follow in her footsteps.
Yes, the same glass ceiling is there.
Yeah, she's more likely to set the women's division back than expand it. She could end up being the example of why you don't pay that kind of money to a woman, and that's a shame. But it could also be AEW's fault, right? Like it will work synchronously that way. But I mean, we collectively tried to give an open mind to what Mercedes can do outside of WWE.
Dude, I went to her show in Long Beach when she lost the title in the tournament.
And about everything that she's done, while cool or first, has not been done well. And that's the issue. When you have the opportunity to reset the standards, they got to be good standards. Just because you do it first. If the US were the first ones on the moon, but the rocket blew up when they hit it, like, it's not a good thing, right? Like, it just...
Yeah, we were the first country to send a teacher into space.
How'd that go?
Fucking look good.
Right. and not one since, right? But if you pull off that execution, how much discovery is happening after that? How much more, knowledge gathering is after that? So if you execute while being the first, then you are trailblazing. I just don't think she's executing.
I know.
It's us in the sports world call it a bust. There's a free agent, you give them a huge contract and they don't perform, it's a bust. And it sucks. It's sad. Like, I wanted her to do well outside of WWE, and I saw Forbidden Door, and travesty.
It was rough, dude. I have like 3 Monet shirts. I've got like a signed 8x10. I retweeted everything she tweeted for like a year. You know what I mean? Like I was so on board, and it's been just such a disappointment every time at this point. Where I was kind of like, God, it's a bummer, dude.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, outside of the Lucha Bros, I mean, I guess they could go to WWE. There's no reason why they couldn't.
I'd like it.
I don't know if I care in the most nicest way, because realistically, I still don't feel like no matter how much they try, I think that Lucha like as a baseline doesn't mesh very well with the American wrestling that they do, the WWE does. You have a few breakouts that happen. But I also look at like Dragon Lee, and I know he's doing very well, but I just don't think his matches hit the same way. I think there's a reason Angel and Humberto are kind of where they're at, is because their style just doesn't mix with other guys' styles the way that, like, go ahead.
I was gonna say, well, see, that's what WWE does, is they always put, you know, lucha guys together and similar guys together, and I think it'd be cool to see the Lucha Brothers in the LWO or in what is
Legato.
it? Yeah, and I think it'd be awesome. And when AEW first came out, I wasn't very familiar with them at all. And they were one of the few bright spots for me with AEW. I was like, okay, you know, it opened my eyes to them. And yeah, I mean, I would love to see them in my favorite promotion, just like a few of the other AEW talents that I like. And yeah, I think they'll do fine.
I think they could do okay. I just don't know. I mean, and also, I mean, look at Andrade.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be a bigger, like, he's getting nothing, dude.
Yeah, he's not built for WWE's presentation.
Not at all.
He just isn't. Yeah.
He comes off second rate every time because his promos just aren't there because he just can't speak very well. He struggles to talk, and you can tell. He's not confident in what he is saying. And at the end of the day, no one's reacting to anything he does in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Carmelo versus Andrade was probably, on paper, one of the best matches that no one would ever want to see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, these are two incredibly talented guys, and you couldn't have a more quiet audience.
Mm-hmm.
The only way they could have been more quiet, the only reason it could have got any more quiet is if Carmelo teamed with Andrade to take on DIY. Then you just have a crowd leave early.
Hey, leave DIY out of it.
I'm just talking about no reactions.
It's fair. My whole thing ever since New Day Usos is I don't care what tag teams out there. I just want to see them against the New Day and or the Usos, because like I've said about the Young Bucks for the longest time, they are so bad at being cohesive as wrestlers. Yes, they're talented. Yes, they're athletic, right? But like when it comes to wrestling, they do everything that they want. If they're put in a ring with that caliber and forced to wrestle that style, do they look better? Is it more palatable? Is it something that is worth watching? So like I say, I've always said the same thing about the Motor City Machine Guns, which might be coming up the line. Them versus the Usos or the New Day, like, let's go. This whole partnership with TNA, I want the North to get back together to watch them against the New Day and Usos. Like, I want to see these things because the best tag team wrestlers I've ever seen, including the ones on your stiffened sheet behind you, it's the New Day and the Usos. Like, they are the best tag team wrestling. Like, it's the best. Like, really, really the best. So any tag team against them, anyone who's the best, that's who I want to see again. So if we get the Usos back together just to go against the Lucha Brothers, I'm okay with that too,
Yeah.
Because I would love to see what it looks like if they're forced to slow down a bit, do some more chain wrestling, get into the crowd, really feed them up as opposed to just give them money shots for fucking 30 seconds in a row,
Yeah. Are we wrestling for the crowd or for GIFs?
Right.
Yes.
Let's talk SummerSlam. Let's talk about some cool stuff. It opened up hot. Here's the weird bit to me. I have no idea why.
Real quick.
Hmm.
The night before SummerSlam, based on your comment before, something cooler even happened.
What happened on SmackDown?
DIY lost the tag team titles.
Oh, that was so fucking cool, dude. Dude, I'll be honest. The bell rang, and I fast forwarded to when I saw Jacob in the ring with Gargano. Go, here we go. This is what I've been waiting for. But yeah, Jacob
punchable
and,
face to get punched.
oh yeah, he just got the shit kicked out of him. I mean, that was pretty sick, huh?
I got a just quick question about that because I have been slacking on my SmackDown and Raw watching. But is the new Bloodline? Are they doing like the Freebird rule?
We don't know yet.
Okay.
They just got them.
They just got the titles, and
But I didn't know if they like tagged interchangeably before. Is what I'm trying to ask.
they have not.
Okay.
But we don't. I don't think we know yet because I mean, for one, the whole reason Jacob was in the match was because one of the Tongas was injured, and now it appears that Jacob may be injured.
Yeah.
So are they going to give it to both the Tongas, or are they going to strip them, or is it actually not an injury that's going to set him out too long? I don't know. But you know, time will tell how that plays out. But I think that as of right now, we haven't had a situation where the bloodline is teaming and one person's interchangeable. Although it was presented that way because Adam Pearce said they can't go because one of the Tongas is missing an eyeball or some shit. And they said, well, we got another member of the bloodline, and they put in Jacob, and then Adam Pearce is like, I'll allow it. Okay, so they might go free birdie.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll have to see. But that was good. It also made me laugh because remember I told you when they put the titles on DIY, I was like, I don't know why they would just get rid of the tag team titles for no reason. Like, they had them on a team that people were interested in. Then they put them into a program that nobody's interested in, just highlighting how much no one is interested in the other team. Then the no one that was interested team wins. And then you're like, what are they doing with this? And then you forget the tag team titles are there until Jacob Fatu wins it. And you go, oh, fuck. No one's ever going to ask who they beat him off of. I don't fucking know.
It's going to be a trivia question 10 years down the road.
Yeah. Yeah. So Gargano's career is going to be a deep cut trivia question down the road. SummerSlam had a 3-hour kickoff.
And how many
3 hours,
matches?
no matches. None. 0 matches. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't even tune in now until it says the start time. I don't watch the pre-shows at all.
I used to watch them. I used to like them. Now it's 3 hours of them just fucking off and goofing, and I don't fucking know. The only downside to not watching it was that they did not play the Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley video package before the match because they assumed you saw it on the kickoff. I thought that was some bullshit. I wanted to see that package, so now I got to go back. But they played it before all the other ones, I thought, right? Yeah,
Depends
yeah.
if you had
all the other ones.
Peacock Premium Plus or whatever it's called.
Oh, that could be too. But it did open up with Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley. I personally thought this match was fucking great. I think Liv Morgan, since being the champion, has really shown she's capable in ring. I think a lot of people gave her flack for a long time that she wasn't that good a wrestler. I kept going, I don't know. I feel like there's something there. But yeah, her matches that she's been having on Raw and here were fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, it happened the first time she had the title too. She got better. And then, you know, her program was trash and they were pushing the babyface aspect without having, like, you know, with the crowd pandering, you know, come on guys, I'm Liv, remember you love me. And now that she doesn't have to give a fuck about the crowd and just go out there and be an asshole, it's working tremendously.
Yeah, I thought so. Do you think Rhea's shoulder actually got popped out of place?
No, I think she just has that much muscle. When she flexes, it goes, look, it looks like my arm's out of place.
Yeah.
Because she did it again later in the match too, and was like, "Hey, look, it's out again." It's like, nah, bitch, you just strong as shit. Look at those fucking muscles. That's at least what I thought.
That's what I thought too, and it kind of reminded me of when, what's her name, Alexa was doing her double jointed.
Yeah.
Oh look, my arm's broken. Okay, it's fine. Because if you pop your shoulder out of your fucking socket, like, that's painful.
And she just rammed it into the commentary table, like where the dislocation was. She went into the point of it, into like the top of the shoulder. Nah, you're gonna go Riggs and do that shit on a post and try to get it up or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah,
I've seen movies. That's not how you do it.
Well, we've seen guys do it by holding onto the rope and jumping down.
Yeah,
I mean, we're just yanks it back up into place. Because I thought that was weird too. That was the one part where, because I was like, I don't know, maybe there's a lump there. Like, I don't know. And then when she rammed it, I was kind of like, feels unlikely that that's what you would do. I honestly thought she was going to give her arm to Dom, and Dom was going to do some sort of yank.
I did too, and I wanted Dom to do it, and then like almost get queasy. And be like, ooh,
oh yeah,
yeah, that'd be great.
Or like he's trying to do it, but he's just not like strong enough, and he keeps like retching, like,
that's when she pushes him out of the way and just hits the commentary table. I'm like, all right, I got it.
That would have been great.
I've been good. But I just meant like move for move. We've talked about a few matches that Liv has had that were just not cohesive and not well executed. I didn't get that out of this one. I thought this match was done perfectly by both members. And I thought the story in it was fantastic.
No, it told the story very well. And yeah, I had no complaints with this match at all.
I was brilliant.
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead, Bishop.
No, the thing we always forget about Rhea is how good she is at giving herself to everyone she works with. You know, because she's such a star, and when she's on point, you know, because again during that title run that she had, she was suffering on the microphone. She really wasn't having, like, you could see the confidence on the mic affecting her matches, but when she's locked in and doing her best to make the other person look good, because I mean, as you know, coming out of this match where Liv has to look like the reason why this is happening, she has to show how vulnerable she is to Liv, and she did that the entire fucking match. It was fantastic. This is the Rhea we remember, you know.
That was my point too. Going into this match too, producer lady was like, "You don't think they're going to give it back to Rhea, do you?" I was like, "I think it's possible," and I was like, "But I think the better story is not to." And then she was just like, "Oh yeah, because she was just so bad on the mic," and I was like, "Yeah, but what we forget is when she's so bad on the mic." Because Rhea really flounders on the mic. And I think removing her from Judgment Day could be a detriment. Because I think they protected her so much by not letting her talk alone very much. And I was like, the thing that you can forget when you keep seeing that is just how good bell to bell she is. And that's why we all love her. That's why we forgive her for when she's floundering on the mic or sounding non-confident. You go, yeah, but wait till the bell rings. Like, you'll see. And she always delivers that way. But like you said, during her title reign, she had no notable matches. Just none. She would just have like one match every 3 weeks against some random jobber on Raw, and then that was supposed to be it. And you're like, this was a 3-minute match against fucking Dana Brooke. What do you want from me? You know what I mean?
Hasn't Dana Brooke been gone for months?
Probably.
Elegance by Ash. I mean, you know.
I'm just being petty and goofy because she talked some shit on Triple H online this week. But yeah, I thought it was perfectly executed, and I think the story was there. Like you said, when Rhea's in there and she's believing in that story, she delivers 100%. Like Dom protecting her from using the chair because you can't win the match like this, you can't do it. But then also then using that chair to set her up. It's so funny too. Someone pointed out online that Dom might be one of the only guys who turned more heel on a heel. Like he had a heel turn while being a heel. He's suddenly now 2 times heel. And you're kind of like, yeah, like we all hated him, and now he does this, and it's like, how could you? And you're like, fuck it, because he's a bad guy.
Yeah. The thing I thought was hilarious was all the people's reaction to him kissing Liv, and they're like, but he's married. And it's like, guys, this is also his fucking job.
It's his job, and it hasn't stopped anyone else I know.
Yeah. Hey.
Kidding.
No, I always
also
find
it's
it.
Liv Morgan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I always find that stuff a little insincere. Like, but we're also not there, right? Like I've heard interviews of like, I don't remember exactly who it was, but for a specific example, George Clooney and Julia Roberts, right? Like they're really good friends. And the story between another couple at some point, it might even been them, I don't know. But they were trying to tell like, oh, well, how uncomfortable is it doing a kiss and see with your friend? It's like, well, it just depends on if they continue to eat that damn tuna fish and onion sandwich before we do the scene, right? Like they make it as uncomfortable as possible so it's not what it looks like to us. So this romantic moment that may be portrayed on TV is actually just two friends being assholes. You know what I mean? Like it's, you know, so to think it's real is on us. It's also their job, but to think that it's real. The thing is though, our age group, we have a little trauma from that, you know, little Edge Lita situation, you know, Deborah McMichael, Steve Austin situation. Like when these characters tend to merge with the on-screen behaviors, tends to go off-screen. It's like, oh, well, they were married. Why do you have them fucking on TV? If they, you know, they were married to someone else, now the whole thing's, you know, blown up in the face and shit like that. So, you know, it's tricky. It's tricky because of the past of what's happened, you know?
It's true. I do agree with you. I think it is pretty insincere because the other thing that we definitely saw, because even producer lady noticed, she goes, Rhea and Dom never actually kissed. Which also means that there's a certain level of comfortability that the talent is allowed to impose. And if Rhea said, I'm not comfortable kissing him because I'm just that devoted to Buddy, they said, we'll work around it. If Dom and his wife are like, hey, yeah, you can kiss him, but like, let's not fucking consummate on air like Lita and Edge. Like they may have their little boundaries. And hey, don't be using tongue. Like who knows? They could be having their own boundaries, but as adults, they're allowed to set their boundaries and they're allowed to impose them. There's a lot of these on-air couples that never kiss.
Yeah, and Dom and his wife might have an open relationship, anyways.
You don't know. You don't know.
Yeah,
we don't know.
I mean, never mind. I'm not gonna say it.
But also, is every week we're going to see them making out a ton? I think not. We didn't see them kiss on Raw. I think it was that moment. We got to do this for that moment, for that big fucking pop. Dumb pop.
Yeah.
I thought it was so fucking good, dude. This was such a good way to start the show. I was so fucking into it.
Yes.
Let's see. And then even the lead up to it, I thought was done brilliantly. I think everyone in this has been like, so lately I haven't been able to watch all of Raw and SmackDown for the past like month or so. I've been busy with a ton of stuff. And I find myself fast forwarding through a bunch of the shows.
Too busy grilling your own chilies.
Grilling my own chilies. But between Dom, Rhea, and Liv, I've had to stop every time they're on TV. I'm like, I have to see what's happening with them. You know, because they're all doing so good at this. Bishop, I want to know what you thought about Braun Breaker and Sami Zayn, because you and I have gone back and forth on Sami a few times about him being like the underdog when he's the champion, being the underdog when it seems convenient. I did feel like the tail end of his reign here, and I've been wanting to talk about it for a couple of weeks. The last few promos we had cut was a lot more like, no, I belong here. And he was like kind of standing on his own, the way that you've been saying you wanted him to be. And the way that I say it's weird that he flip flops into that and out of that like he does. Well, he flipped back into it. The match I thought was done really well. I don't know. I want to know your take on this one, because I kind of walked away feeling a little 50-50 on it.
So I was ready to tweet out on Monday when Sami was being fucking, I don't believe in myself, Sami, when he had the promo with Jay. And then he immediately flipped it and was like, nah, man, I know I belong here. Like, I'm getting my rematch next Monday. I got this. And I was like, you know what? Thank you for working me, because I'm fucking tired of that gimmick, right? Like, somebody tweeted out, if you don't support Sami, then you get no bitches, right? Like that thing. And I was like, well, I guess Sami gets no bitches, right? Like, because he's the number one who doesn't support himself. He's the one that always doesn't believe in himself. And And so to your point, yes, he finally found the strength in his character. That's something that can elevate him above the IC title now. Like
Yes.
ability, work rate, cachet, he has that, right? To be above IC title. He has that Seth Rollins aura about him.
Yes.
But then his character's like, but I don't belong there, and I have to prove it. Well, then I guess you fucking do. All right, go in an IC title tournament, lose in the third round, and then try again next year and fail at King of the Ring, because that's what you're telling me that you can do. To be able to stand strong leading into the IC title match and lose it in the manner in which he did in under like 7 minutes, that's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic, because now you have a character who's built himself up to a point where now Braun Breaker winning means something. But if it's doubtful Sammy who's going up against this fiery upstart who really took it out of me last time, and I just don't know if I can beat him this time because I just against the odds, like, okay, then I guess you couldn't beat him. But the confidence he had in himself allows Braun Breaker to now say, I beat one of the best as an Intercontinental Champion, who beat the best Intercontinental Champion of all time, someone that Braun Breaker has beat as well. So being like to now elevate Sammy to a point where Braun Breaker can put himself on that level, now try to maintain, it's more of a tough task for Braun Breaker than it is, anything else. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was done well, and I thought they made the right decision.
Yeah, my only kind of I said it when he won it at Mania. I don't think Sammy belongs with the Intercontinental title. I think it's a step down, a step backwards for him, because it wasn't even like how I think Sheamus has never held the IC. I think that was part of one of his stories, and
I think it's the U.S.
The U.S. I think it's a different story when you have someone who's accomplished a ton of stuff. I've got the Royal Rumble. I've won the World Championship. I've done all this stuff. The one thing I haven't done is this title that I didn't get on the way up is a way different story than constantly being like, I just don't know, and then kind of like dwindling back down to the Intercontinental title. So I felt like it was a good move to get it off of him because I don't think he belongs there. I do think he belongs on a higher level, but I do wonder with kind of how it all went, like how easily he's going to slide into that higher level, because like you said, I think he's got the cachet. I think we all believe it, but yeah, his character doesn't always. Also, I like that they had a couple matches where Sammy won before Braun took him out, and somehow all those matches were believable without people like cheating and interfering and shit like that too. Like there was no tomfoolery. It just was good wrestling or being out wrestled. Kev, what did you think of the whole Sami Zayn Intercontinental Championship run and Braun Breaker being the one to take it off him?
First off, you were right. It was the IC that Sheamus has never won. But, yeah, I want there to be more of a edge to Sammy, like you guys were just saying. He always reminds me of the brave little toaster, where he's doubting himself and just like needs somebody else to give him that confidence. And I just want him to flip a gear, finally snap or something, and just, hey, there's a edgy Sammy here. For Braun Breaker, I like Braun Breaker. Him to take it off of Sammy, I'm okay with. But it does make me excited for Raw next week to see them have the rematch. And hopefully we do see the Sammy that pulls out all the stops, and maybe even a better match than we had at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could have that longer, better match.
Mm-hmm.
That's my hunch. I think we might get a better match, and I think that Braun still wins, and I think that'd be sick.
Yeah.
They haven't done the sorry, Kev. They haven't done the quick flip flop in a long time though.
That's true.
Yeah.
So that would be cool to interject that and like create a feud. But if they're gonna do this to pass it on, because it seems like they want to do the Sammy J thing against the Judgment Day, then okay. But it'd be nice to get something different, instead of the cut and paste rematch loss. Because that's kind of been the MO.
Yeah, that could be cool.
See, and when you said the flip flop with the titles, like I think that'd be great. And then I think you could even push it forward and then have the blow off match at maybe like a Survivor Series, and say, all right, 2 out of 3 falls type of match,
Mm.
and then have the
Yeah, that'd be fun.
big payoff match, and everyone gives it all, and then if Braun walks away with that, cool, that'd be awesome.
And think of how far Sammy can take Braun in a 2 out of 3 falls match with that
100%.
much time. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be fun. I hate fantasy booking, but that was awesome.
That could be cool too, because one of the things I think that they've done a really good job with in this feud, and almost accidentally, is really showcase like raw power, aggression, explosiveness versus raw technician and heart. Right? Like these two polar opposite styles are actually on the same level. And you just look at them on different levels in different ways, right? Like you think of Sammy as like, yeah, he's the guy who faced Roman, but you also like see Braun come out and you go, that could be the guy to dethrone Roman, right? A year ago. But what they've done, I think what they could even do, like you said, if they flip flop a little bit and go to 2 out of 3s, is really be like, look, raw power gets you so far, but all heart and technical prowess can outdo that in the right, with the right mentality and circumstances, to where you could have Braun eventually win. And you go, yeah, at a certain point though, you can only be fucking speared in the gut so many times so he can't breathe.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a plan to get punched in the mouth. But yeah, I've liked how much that they've built Braun as just this explosive force, and how Sammy's able to take him out because he just out wrestles him. And you just can't take him down. So yeah, I think a flip flop could be really cool for them. Now you mention it. Did you think the Blue Thunderbomb was going to beat Braun Breaker?
No, his name's not AJ Styles.
That's right. He's not AJ Styles. No one knows that.
He beat someone else with it too. I think we came on episode 1 and talked about that, like right after it happened. But
LA Knight beat Logan Paul for the U.S. title. I thought this match was pretty dope, but I was just more happy than anything that LA Knight walked away with the championship. He needs it. He's earned it.
I don't think he needs it, but he definitely earns it. I know
he needed
character.
it. He needed it. No, he needed it because it solidifies what we've been seeing. Because for the past year, he's been everything that everyone can do. Shouts to myself. I was at SummerSlam last year, right? And the LA Knight chant took over the woo. There was no such thing as woo anymore. Anytime somebody would woo at a live crowd, somebody else would go LA Knight, and then just goes everywhere. And for this past year, he's been this superstar, and the only place he can go is down, giving himself something to elevate. So just because he's at this height of popularity doesn't mean he's going to stay there. What's next? We have to elevate that to the next moment. So he had the matches, but he hasn't had the solidification. And now that he's the U.S. champ, I think it was needed. I think it was absolutely needed.
I think so. And I think he's the type of dude, I talked about it last year's SummerSlam. He's the type of dude who could take the U.S. title to where only John Cena has taken it before.
Do
long ass run.
Do you think you get a Slim Jim spinner belt?
I don't know if it'll spin, but it'll snap.
Could you imagine? Because the Slim Jim is phallic, so instead of having it go with the belt, go perpendicular to the belt.
Yeah. It comes out. The Slim Jim just comes out and spins around.
I think he's made for it. I think it's the right opportunity, and I think it's the right person to take it off of Logan Paul, right? Like, even their promos leading up to it, like, you're the megastar, but I get 20 million views on everything I touch, right? Like, so like they are the megastars in their own universes, right? I mean, now that Logan's in ours, but his own, he's definitely his megastar, right? But in this universe, you need someone who is as popular as Logan Paul to take that off of him. You're not going to build a star off of Logan Paul per se, but you can solidify a star off of Logan Paul.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
See, I heard that I saw some stuff online that Logan Paul was supposed to retain, and they changed it because of something.
No, I don't buy into that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't buy into that.
That would make any sense.
Because and honestly, listening to Triple H, and not specifically about that, but just kind of how he handles the business, I don't think he's much influenced about the outcomes of his stories by anything. If he's going to tell his story, he's going to tell his story. And I thought this story, especially being SummerSlam, because he started with SummerSlam when he took over. I think SummerSlam is kind of his delineation of how are we solidifying our new year. And I think that's what he did. I think it was always the plan.
Yeah, I think it's people trying to make too much out of a tweet. I think that's all it was.
Probably. I just didn't like that Super Soaker Kelly was out there.
Yeah, I didn't care about him, but he also was only minorly involved, so whatever.
Yeah.
That's kind of Logan's thing, though.
I was going to say, I just don't like that Logan Paul, every time he comes out, oh, look I have this guy as my friend. Oh, look I have ISO Speed or whatever the hell his name is.
That's what makes him a fucking heel, dude.
Not just a heel, but it solidifies his superstardom. You know, he has incredibly popular friends. Yeah.
All my friends are famous and I'm better than you. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Look at that guy. I want the Slim Jim guy.
And that was a Cleveland thing. I mean, Kelly's from Cleveland.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
He didn't have to hop the barricade, though. You know what I mean? Like, hop the barricade to give him brass knucks. Like, just fucking take the chain off and give it to him.
Yeah, but he wanted to.
Oh, of course. I did. I really enjoyed the finish, though, because it went in the way of which everyone else has lost to him, and it turned into a loss for Logan Paul. It was fantastic.
Yeah. Just so good. So good. Yeah, everything about it was perfect. But not perfect. Nia Jax defeated Bayley to win the WWE Women's Championship in a match that Bayley did 3 times the work to make that happen. But I knew it was going to happen, though. They kind of telegraphed it. They've been telling the whole story about Tiffany and Nia.
Yeah.
And to me, it's a disservice to what Bayley's capable of doing as a champion. But they're trying to tell a smaller story right now. Bayley's got the capability, and we've seen it in the past, where she can elevate an entire roster. All they're trying to do is elevate Tiffany. And this is the right move if all you're trying to get is Tiffany going. Because now you can have the Tiffany back and forth with Nia. The only problem is Tiffany side by side with Nia an awful lot. I think it helps keep Tiffany with some heat, which is good. I don't see how you're going to actually fucking turn one of them babyface against. Well, I guess Tiffany can go babyface against Nia.
Tiffany.
But now you're going to just have a whole bunch of like half shitty segments.
Well, I think you.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, in order to get Tiff baby's face, I think you have Nia just being a bully. You know, being the thing for years that she was talking out against, and just making her a bully. Like Tiffany's side, or ringside, she can grab the briefcase and kind of throw it and be like, "Get out of here, leave me alone," type of thing. And I think you can turn her babyface really quickly like that.
That's true. Yeah, give me your briefcase. I'm going to use it. This and that.
Leave it back here. You come out to the ring with me. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like the new Tiffany side bag money in the briefcase.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I don't think I saw that.
That was great.
It's pink and it's got like this long strap, so she can just have a purse.
Yeah, I did see that. Because I was so confused when I saw it. I was like, "What the fuck is that?"
Well, they had a segment where Bayley came out and beat the shit out of the briefcase and broke it. And while it was happening, the producer lady's all like, "What are they doing?" And I was like, "They're making a new Tiffany briefcase to unveil soon. That's what they're doing. They're going to sell briefcases." And so when it happened, she was like, "You were right." And I was like, "How good is it?" She's like, "It's amazing."
I think they've kind of missed an opportunity with Tiffany though, because she was getting cheered ever since her main roster debut. And I understand the process, right? Like, let's exposure, build them, do the thing to get their feet wet, all those things, right? But when you listen to Tiffany talk at press conferences and her interviews, like in character, she's not good. She's not good. She has a very hard time communicating on the microphone. And if you take some of that work out of it for her and allow her to just be good at the wrestling and get organic cheers, I'm not saying like force feed a baby face and make her go out there and say, "Come on, guys, let's do this." But like force feed us a baby face with her wrestling and just let that happen. Because you're now giving her resistance to build through that it doesn't quite sound like she's ready to build through the resistance, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it was the biggest issue I think they had with I mean, Tiffany is so good that she set back Naomi on her big return because they immediately put them in a program together and the crowds were like split, like, hey, we want to cheer Naomi, we're happy she's back, but Tiffany's really fucking good. And during Elimination Chamber, I remember saying in one of my group chats, and I was like, we have a serious problem that the biggest cheers of the night are going to the biggest heel in the women's division. You know, and they're like, the people in there was like, nope, it's not gonna be a problem, it's not gonna keep happening. And then it happened on SmackDown the next week, then it happened on SmackDown the next week. And I was like, I'm hearing a lot of cheers for a bad guy. Like, they got to figure something out. And I think putting her with Nia gives her those boos, but
they're not her boos. They're Nia's boos. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think any turn on Nia, I don't think any turn on Nia is going to get her bigger cheers than she was getting before.
I think her cashing in on Nia will get a bigger cheer because Nia's, like Kev said, a bitch. Than it'll be if she cashed in on Bailey.
I said a bully.
People.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Cashing in on Bailey is not going to be the as loud a pop as cashing in on Nia. That's for sure. But Kev, what were you about to say? Come on, bitches.
Well, I think they missed out on an opportunity too at SummerSlam where I wouldn't even mind like Tiffany just putting the briefcase down and then the ref picking it up for some reason, then Nia looking and being like, you know, hey, what the fuck's going on type of thing. Because they've already alluded to that she kind of doesn't trust her. So if they would have like played into it a little more, I would have liked it. But I was just going to, I had a random thing of with the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring is I just didn't like until recently from what I've seen that none of them had crowns. And I saw Nia had a crown at SummerSlam, right?
Yeah. They have these new bejeweled crowns, yeah.
But I just don't, I'm like, you know, Xavier won King of the Ring and Macho Man won it. Where is he? Right there, Macho King. And that became their character. Sheamus did it. Everyone's done it. Now King of the Ring was just this side note to me.
It was a little weird. They went heavier with the crowns. So like when Xavier Woods and even Zelina were wearing their crowns, they were like almost clearly rubbery cosplay kind of crowns. So you knew that they could take a bump. Then this year they made the crowns like Swarovski crystals and shit, and you could tell those things cannot take a bump. So they weren't going out there with them unless it was for like this match. Then now she's got a crown on, and I mean, I thought the same. I thought it was weird, but also this is the first time they ever gave stipulations to the King of the Ring, where you win it and now you get a title shot at SummerSlam. That's never happened before either. So now it's no longer about you get this new King gimmick you get to run with for a year. Now it's you get to wear a crown out to SummerSlam. Okay.
Look, we've said it though every year for anytime King of the Ring has come up, like, oh, this should get you a title shot. This should get you a title shot.
Yeah.
And now they finally did, to Kev's point, to have that, but without the character being royalty is kind of a bummer. Like for Gunther, they call him the King General, right? Like, okay, it's cute, but it's not what Gunther says. It's not what Gunther wants to be. It's what they call him. Nia says it every once in a while. But to not be part of that character, I do find it like cool. It's not the trope of, oh, now I got to be Booker T and Zelina where I'm using accents, but it's also not even in homage the way Xavier Woods was, right? Like he was all about like the honor in which it is to be King of the Ring. So I would like to see a bit of a middle ground where it is treated more old school. But I mean, look, that was one of the things Triple H pushed back on the most when he was a performer. He hated the coronation part of it. But you know, one thing, he has been servicing the fans when it comes to getting these things. So I mean, I'm sure they'll find a middle ground. But no, it doesn't have to be, you know, Because even Baron Corbin too, right? Like he came out with the chariot type thing or whatever. Like,
and it was like
they
fucking
dropped, like,
Game of
at the time.
Thrones. It was sick, dude. His cape was fucking skins and stuff.
But back then that's all he had to go with because he didn't get the title shot to go along with that. So there has to be some type of middle ground where they can both be serviced.
Well, see, I think just having them show up with the crown. You win a belt, you show up with the belt. It's not like you leave the belt in the back and be like, all right.
Cody doesn't.
The Owen Hart tournament winners don't.
Yeah.
Braun Strowman still doesn't carry around his Saudi Arabian belt. He got that one time.
Liv didn't come out this week with her title.
Yes, he does. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, if you're cutting a promo, and a lot of times not a lot of times, but I've seen them mention, hey, I'm King of the Ring. Have the fucking crown on. Or have the crown on.
Well, that was my thought when you're like, oh, they don't have to fucking have a fake accent. I loved the couple of characters that did that because what it showed was that it went to their head. It showed an ego-driven thing. I'm the king. I'm royalty. I'm practically British. You know what I mean? Like, it's this whole fucking thing that you go, what an obnoxious asshole. I can't believe they won it. You know what I mean? So for me, I thought it was actually a clever thing where it's all like, I'm king of the ring and now you have to salute me. It's gone to my head. And you're like, okay, well, now I want that guy taken out.
And that'd be a heel thing, but
yeah, it would be a heel thing.
I want some kind of recognition.
Yeah, I feel like they haven't quite found the right footing for King of the Ring. I do agree with that. I feel like early on that it was done really well. And I think somewhere in the 2000s, it got real fucking lost. I think they're just trying to figure out where's the happy spot.
No, I mean, even the 90s, like, so Bret Hart's whole thing was to have the program with Lawler and Owens. It was great for his character to go up against his brother, but it was a thing to boost Austin. It was a thing to boost Triple H. Who else was in there? Billy Gunn, right? Like, it's not like it really had, robes and crowns during the whole 90s too.
That's what I'm saying. That's my point. They showed the robes and crowns. I said the 2000s when it really lost its footing, and that's when it became all robes and crowns.
Gotcha.
Where they had the robes and crowns before, and they were kind of like back and forth with it. Would the guy wear it? Would he not? You know what I mean? Like, they would do the coronation, but then also they'd be like, okay, but I'm also a serious wrestler. And then the real characters started coming out in the 2000s where it's all like, oh yeah, no, now it's getting to their heads, which is cool.
Ken Shamrock won as well.
I
think Shamrock won, right? I think he beat The Rock in the finals.
Yeah.
But see, I don't even care if it's a crown, robe, all that shit. Even if it's their own belt, and then they can sell more King of the Ring belts of, whoever wins it, or put a crown scepters on. Yeah, but put a crown on a chain, and say, hey, I'm King of the Ring this way, but just something to mention it. Like, they just go out there, and if you saw them without any notice or anyone mentioning that they're King of the Ring, you wouldn't know that they're this year's.
They should have to get a chest tattoo.
Do you think if Jey Uso won it, he would have a grill that said King across it in diamonds?
I'll take it.
Maybe, or even glasses that just say King instead of Yeet.
Okay, well,
you don't like it when somebody has a better idea than you right away.
Nope, that's stupid. I'm done.
They didn't make Macho King glasses that said King. That's stupid.
It was immediately better than yours. Like, immediately.
Well, it's immediately more merchandisable. Now I will say though that overall the Bailey and Nia match wasn't a bad match, but I really was impressed with what Bailey was pulling off there, because there was a lot of stuff you're like, God damn, like she's double timing this. But speaking of half timing, Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk, with special guest clown Seth freaking Rollins in the goofiest fucking ref shit. Here's my deal. Here's my problem with the Seth Rollins character right now. We all know he's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. There's just no doubt that he's not in that conversation all the time. especially when it comes down to talk about the flares and the steamboats and the technical guys. There is no doubt in anyone's mind that he's not goofing the fuck off by wearing what he's wearing. It's disingenuous. This isn't who you are. We know you're a t-shirt, hoodie, jeans kind of a guy. There's just no doubt in my mind that you go anywhere in your life with goofy glasses on, with frilly sleeves on. On the flip side, there's no doubt in my mind that Becky Lynch, although probably wears sweats at home, gets excited to go to a red carpet and put on the goofiest hat she can find. There's no doubt in my mind that she has that superstardom feeling about her. I'm this superstar thing. It's like I even was like, so when bands come through town and I see them and they're clearly on their second tour ever and they're dressed like a rock star. And you know they go to the store and see something that they would never wear to school, but they're a rock star. So now I'm going to put it on because I'm a rock star. This is how rock stars dress, right? Seth looks like he's being dressed up by Becky because he doesn't know how to get over on his own anymore. And Becky's like, this worked for me. And you go, yes, because it feels genuine for you. This doesn't feel genuine for Seth. And that's why I keep coming back to the fact that, like, everything he's doing here comes off so disingenuine from a guy that I know is the most genuine wrestling fan, one of us that there's ever been. I'm so tired of this fucking gimmick of his. Revolutionary, visionary means nothing if you've revolutionized to nothing and provided no vision for anyone. Even that embrace the vision bullshit was about followers he had that left without explanation, without ever establishing what his vision
back
was.
now.
We're back now and never been mentioned. So
I think
before we go into the shitty match, help me fix this Seth Rollins problem I'm having.
I think you're right though. Like maybe back when he was wrestling Roman for, was it day one? Was when that one happened, or Royal Rumble, whatever the Roman, when Roman got disqualified.
Yeah.
I think it was around that time that me and you possibly talked about how this might be the opportunity for Seth to take himself serious again.
Yeah.
And we're going on, like, what's that, 2 years ago? 3 years ago now?
3 years ago.
Yeah. And the opportunity for him to turn that around, the only other time it happened was when he was meeting adversity with Cody. He could not beat Cody. And if him fucking around with all these outfits and clowning and singing and all this shit is distracting him from beating Cody, then he now needs to change his shit. And then what happened after the Cody feud? He fucking gets his way into this new world title and goes back into the sing and the song and all this stuff. To now, he literally is the opposite of what he wanted to be. In terms of what CM Punk has been saying about Seth Rollins, is basically like, I was your inspiration for what you wanted to be. The pure at heart wrestler who is indie guy through and through, right? You've now turned into the Cena type where you're now character portrayal first before you're actually in-ring technician, which of course we know. Again, like you said, Seth Rollins, 10 out of 10 when it comes to bell to bell, 11 out of 10, right? Mm-hmm. But you're 1000% correct when it comes to this character. Like, I don't even think it's a lack of authenticity, because I do think he buys into the character itself. Because again, there's people who try to do characters and it doesn't play out. I think he fully understands his character and he's sinking his teeth into it, and he's doing that. I understand where you're coming from with the authenticity, but I think the character's just played. I think it's done. Like, I'm good with singing it. Like, I'll go the next time I go to a show, if the song is happening, I won't, because I just don't have to anymore. I've done it enough. And I don't even go to shows every year. But for the last 3 years that I've gone to shows, guess what? Oh, it's like, is it going to start out with Burn It Down, or is it not? You know what I mean? Like, is it how? Yeah, so I'm with you. I think the character needs to fucking get serious again.
And the thing that sucks is that every now and again, and I'll go to you, Kevin, just real quick. Every now and again, especially in this program with Drew and with Punk, he's taken the glasses off and gotten real serious and stopped being this fucking clowny jokery type. And even when he comes out, he doesn't look like somebody who's taking even himself seriously. Isn't it funny what I'm wearing? Isn't it so funny that this is... No, I'm not I'm not watching AEW because I don't want to watch parody of wrestling. I want to watch wrestling, right? And you're being a joke of it, right? And then he gets in the ring and you go, okay, well, this guy's serious. But like, he's had those couple of times in a couple of promos where he stripped down and stopped talking with the weird, goofy accent and talked with his voice. Not that he's doing a British accent, but he's doing kind of a voice. And then you hear him drop it and you go, oh, wait, this is just how he talks. You know it's there. You know that there's a genuine person there. And you go, that's good because you feel it. And then he goes back to all the other stuff and you go, okay, well, now I don't feel it anymore. But go ahead, Kev.
Well, I was going to say, like, yeah, I agree. The goofy outfits, all that shit needs to go. But I think this is the time to get rid of it. I think this is the time where Seth comes out, gets serious, and almost becomes straight edge CM Punk, and then CM Punk plays off of that. You know what I mean? And I think, I just think that he's gonna hit his, quote unquote snapping point, and then he is gonna come out just black trunks or pants and all right, let's get down. Me versus you. That's it. No other frills.
Well, that's kind of what happened Monday, right? When he came out Monday, he was dressed down to face Punk. And I definitely think we can get there. But even as you're saying it, like the sneak attack by Bronson Reed now allows Seth to go back into the goofy gear and, he can prance around as hot shit and just go, well, you can only beat me when you sneak me. If I come out in front of your face, you can't do shit about it. And then he's just taunting him and, being an asshole. And we lose the ability for him to have edge again. And maybe honestly, to your point, Mars, maybe he's so insecure at authenticity. He feels like he has to put a character on. Mm-hmm. And he wants to hold on to the character.
And that's what it feels like to me. And in the worst possible way, it makes me feel pity for him whenever I see him on TV. Yeah. He's so fucking good, and he's our guy. And I feel bad for him all the time. Because I watch him and I go, he doesn't even mean this.
Yeah. And that's the thing is that, like, we know that he has some insecurities, like on a personal level. And he needs to get out of his own head and just get back to basics and just, be Seth freaking Rollins.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I mean, when it comes to his bank account, I don't feel bad for him at all.
I mean, he has to pay a lot more taxes than we do. I kind of feel bad for him.
That's true. But he's also got kids, so.
I do too.
Yeah, it's true.
So does Heath Slater.
No.
I still can't find one of Heath Slater's shirts. I've been wanting one of those I Got Kids shirts for years because I wanted to wear it to all the fucking PTA meetings and soccer games, and I cannot find one.
Such a bummer, dude. They got to be out there.
If you guys find one, let me know.
Yeah. Let us know if you get a hold of one. But yeah, I just so much about the Seth character I'm just not feeling. And it's a bummer. But also on the flip side,
I was just gonna say, but it does feel like the winds of change are coming. Like I think we do get a different Seth because, like you guys said, it's been years, and everyone needs to change their style every once in a while, and it's got to come.
Well, let me ask you: do you guys feel
just outlaw cowboy? I'm for it.
Yeah, sorry for jumping in there.
No, go ahead.
Do you guys feel like?
I think he dressed up like Hangman Page, and I like the idea of that. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, then they would say he's ripping off Shawn Michaels, right? If he does chaps in a vest. Do you guys think he still hates working with CM Punk? Because after the match at SummerSlam, he fucking ran out the ring. He ran up the rim. Like, and all the aftermath that was happening after that match, he was gone.
Yeah.
See,
I wants anything to do with him.
I'm torn on that because yes, all right, I'm out. But at the same time, he sold CM Punk. And I don't know if it's just him like, hey, this is my business. I want to keep my job type of thing. But if there was that much animosity, you know, he hit me with the go to sleep or whatever it's called, and I would have just laid down and then got up and walked out. And I mean, he sold it for a minute and then
I think he cares too much.
did the finish.
I do. I think Seth cares too much. And when Punk first came back, I mean, Marsh, me and you, we talked about episode 1. I just feel bad for Seth because if anyone can continue CM Punk's career by making him look good in the ring, it's going to be Seth. No one else on the roster is going to be able to carry him.
I mean, they got Cena for the next year.
Yeah. He's carried him his whole career, though.
Yeah.
And the irony is that in that story, I think a lot of Brett and Shawn Michaels in that they hated to work together. But I think the irony of it is that Punk thinks he's the Brett, and he's not. Seth is. Shawn, like, CM Punk is the Shawn in this situation, the asshole with the ego that is hard to work with and will overdo everything. And then Seth has to carry the whole fucking thing. But some of the best matches that Brett and Shawn ever had were against each other because neither one of them wanted to give the other one the opportunity to say something bad about them in the ring. So they gave 100% precision. But
Well,
then on
not
the
just
flip
that.
side- Go
They
ahead.
both had respect for the business as a whole, like what's best for the business. And CM Punk doesn't do stuff that's best for the business. He does stuff that's best for the business of CM Punk.
Yeah. But I also think that he's egotistical enough where he's not going to give anybody the ability to say that it was me. So he's going to do fucking extra hard. But I think Seth is the same way. I think there's also a certain level of professional animosity that drives people for perfection to not allow the other person something to bite on. You know what I mean?
I think we should just do another brawl for all and have Seth and Punk with gloves and go.
Oh. It's the whole tournament.
Yeah, no, just those two.
I don't get the impression that Seth wants to work with them, but I get the impression he's going to do it because he also knows that he's the only one who can. It's him and Drew. And I think Drew did a good job in this, but at the end of the day, Punk in the fucking Bret Hart costume is so fucking stupid. And then on top of that, this whole fucking story, the whole match was about a bracelet. It was about a fucking friendship bracelet. And all I could think of is Punk worked with children for so fucking long that he thinks friendship bracelets are the story.
Wait, they're not?
How fucking stupid was this?
I'll
All
tell
of
you,
it.
it honestly bothers me more that because we've had these conversations about other matches and it's not clicking in my head right now. But if Gunther like losing to Sami Zayn was the reason why he lost to Sami is because he was distracted by the crowd. He stopped being a professional wrestler. So the only way CM Punk can lose to Drew McIntyre is by being distracted by a bracelet? No. Drew McIntyre, to Punk's credit with his promo the next night on Raw, I didn't know if I can beat him. He is 6'5", 265 pounds. He does hit like a truck, and I'm still standing. Like, great, that's fine. But that wasn't how you lost. And he should have lost that way. He should have been a 50-year-old man losing to a 40-year-old man who is absolutely in shape and not taking the same nipple-enhancing stuff that the other guy is. Like, there definitely should have been an actual defeat to Punk.
Yeah.
And there wasn't. It was the distraction that did it.
See, and I hated that the next night on Raw, he kept saying, well, I'm happy. I'm happy. Why am I happy? I lost, but I'm happy. And that just fucking irritated the shit out of me.
His whole promos, the way he builds them are stupid. As soon as he came out, I was all like, I'm happy. And I was like, oh, so his fucking catchphrase this week is I'm happy? And it was, but I'm happy. He does that every time. He has this fucking theme that he says out loud over and over again, trying to drive the point home, and all it does is make him sound scripted and stupid. Go ahead, Kev. Sorry.
Do you think we get a happy Punk?
Yes. He's going to win the lottery.
Yeah.
Now I see what you did there. I didn't even think about it. To correlate it to Corbin. That's amazing. I love every second of that. That's fucking great. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Damn, I even lost my point. That's amazing.
Dude, he all comes out to the and I'm happy.
Where's the big hat? The big Pharrell hat?
Yeah.
So good. So good.
But yeah, I thought the whole match was so fucking dumb when it all came down to, like you said, this distraction about a bracelet of all things. Because the other thing, he was all like, I didn't know if I could beat him. He was this, that, and the other thing. And you're like, so you fucking didn't pay attention? Like, if you really thought you were going to lose this match, or you thought you didn't have a chance, or you thought that you had to really give it your all, how come you didn't do that then? Why did you allow yourself to be because I get the symbolism of the bracelet, but there's also the symbolism of getting the W. You know what I mean?
So, I have two theories here. So, about a year into being married, my wedding ring got stolen at a hotel by a maid, right? And I was gonna replace it, and I always felt like if I replaced it, it just wouldn't feel the same, you know. So like I went like 8 years without getting one, and then we kind of agreed on these like, you know, these simple black bands, because if they ever get lost, it's a fucking $20 to get another one. Makes so much sense, right? Like now the symbolism to us now means something, but it took me like a very long time to get rid of the nostalgia that was with, or the memories and all that stuff that was with the original one. You just can't replace that, right? But I'm looking at that Punk bracelet, and it's got to cost like 85 cents to fucking remake it. Just make a fucking new one. Like it's not going to mean that much. Just make a new one that says Larry and AJ, and you can use different colors, and you can have it be better and special. Like the fact that this little fucking maybe $4 to make bracelet is hanging him up. Just make a fucking new one. If he came out, and honestly, how much more would you hate him if he came out on Monday and goes, "You can have that bracelet. I made a new one," and then the crowd goes,
like fucking gold.
Yeah, like
he's got one that's like a gold chain with little fucking gold charms on it. You'd be like, oh shit, he spent money on one for real now.
But if he was gonna be like,
looks like a dog collar.
If he was gonna be,
got all my bitches' names on it.
Tell me this isn't a great idea for him though. If he's got his CM Punk hoodie on that everybody fucking hates, he's got his fucking wrist taped and everything, right? Looks like complete CM Punk douche, right? But then he goes, but I made a new bracelet and it says Angela on it. Like, now you're showing Drew he doesn't have the power over you anymore, and you're taking a shot at his dead mom. Like, now we're building something. Now we're like going somewhere, and you're giving like juice to the story. But yeah, to have CM Punk lose by a distraction, so heartbreaking, and then on Monday go, but I'm happy. Yeah. And then what unhinges him again, right? Is Drew's on the steps, and the only way to stop him from fighting fucking Seth Rollins is because Drew still got my bracelet. It's bad storytelling.
My friendship bracelet. It's the stupidest, most childish bullshit. And that's what fucking that's the fucking hypocrisy of Punk that drives me fucking mental, that people don't get it. He wanted to shit on John Cena's entire career because he was for the kids. And he wants to say that Seth Rollins is dressing up like a clown, just like Cena did, because he's all about the sports entertainment and not about the in-ring. And none of those things are fucking true. You know what I mean? Cena was about the business, and he wasn't dressed like a clown. He had a fucking uniform. The hat, the shirt, and the fucking straps matched.
The shorts.
For a reason. You know what I mean? Like, it was a uniform. It's no different than you coming out in Brett's gear every fucking week. You know what I mean? Like, he had his uniform, and he was for the business, and he knew that the business needed new people because they had lost a lot of older people. They need new fans. So how are we going to get the next 10 years worth of fans in now? Is get them early and keep them hooked, right? Cena was for the business. Punk is for himself. And the whole fucking, I'm here for my friendship bracelet bullshit, that is for children. You know what I mean? That's not for the business. It's so Punk can go and say, remember I did that sentimental story about the bracelet? Like, he's doing shit for children and was mad that Cena was for the kids.
Yeah. Well, and exactly what Cena stood for the kids. You know, he's basically shitting on Cody at the same time.
And Make-A-Wish. He hates cancer kids. That's fact.
Fuck those cancer kids. They're a downer. I'm happy.
I'm happy.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like again, I'm an asshole for so many things, but I get called the asshole when we say stuff like this, like
Mhm.
because you're not making it up. It's literally what the guy is saying. It's literally what they're showing you. You
Yeah.
know,
what
that was
it
my whole
is.
thing with
Yeah.
that was my whole thing with Cody beforehand. Like you're literally showing me like how corporatized this character is, right? You're literally showing me how you are not what you say you are. And that's everything Punk is doing. He's like, but I'm happy and this is great. Well, you're obviously not happy because this little tiny bracelet is now completely unhinging everything about you. Like, I'm good, man. If it steal the
Dude.
fucking dog, go big boss man and steal the fucking dog.
Right.
You know?
And feed it to him
You know?
Or put it in a bag and jump on it like Earthquake.
like earthquake.
Yeah. Earthquake killed Damien. I was there.
Yeah.
Not in the building, but I was there as a kid. I remember that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was
Yeah.
traumatizing.
And Al Snow ate that dog. Let's fucking
Right.
do it,
Yeah.
dude. Let's get in
Yeah.
it.
Fucking was a boss man stole Big Show's dad's casket. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
steal the thing. Don't fucking I have a bracelet. Oh my
Yeah.
god, my bracelet. Fuck your bracelet. Get a new one.
Although your
Yeah.
stupid idea there about the Angela bracelet means that like in a week or so, Punk's gonna come out with a sword. Just a full-on sword.
Sure.
Mhm.
Sure. Why not? Why not?
Mhm.
Like
I'll
because
attach your
it's better
bracelet
than
with a sword.
fucking freak. Like he's
He's gonna ride in on Jinder Mahal's motorcycle that was gifted to him with the sword strapped on his back.
wearing a I have kids t-shirt
Yeah, wearing an I have
and
kids
just
t-shirt.
3 on the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, you might have my bracelet, but I fucked your friends. What? You fucked with my friends? No,
No.
I did not say
No.
with.
Yeah, it's ironic because again, like so WWE is our show, right? So we can criticize anyone who's on AEW or TNA or New Japan, whatever, and say, "Oh, this just sucks, this is stupid," because we can see how it would play out in WWE, and then go, "Well, maybe it would look better here." But anyone in WWE, like even the ones I don't like, I have to give them a chance while they're on TV. That's why I haven't been that hard on Nia. I think ever since she's been back, it appears she's putting more work in to be a better opponent, be a better partner in the ring. So yes, I agree with you. Bayley did do a lot of that match, but it's not like Nia was resisting or wasn't doing some of the work. So,
No.
and I give her credit for that.
Oh
But
yeah,
this
no, she
CM
did as
Punk
much as
stuff-
she could.
Yeah, for
She just
sure.
could.
Yeah, I mean, how balanced does Nia have to be for that power bomb to make sure Bayley can walk her in the ring? Nia definitely has to do her part there. She's way too big
Yeah.
for Bayley to do all of that herself. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
What do you mean the powerbomb walk?
Bayley walked with Nia on her shoulders to power.
That powerbomb. I thought you meant when
Yes.
she powerbombed Bailey, and I was about to let you
No.
know that powerbombs are a lot of the other person.
Yeah, no.
Because Kevin Nash and Big Show talked about that. How
Oh, for sure.
the big guy on the bottom has to do a full sit up
Yes.
to get up to do that.
Yeah.
But if you
But no,
didn't
so-
notice, Nia did not have to do that because she just had to like get up on the ropes and then move forward. So she was balancing best she could,
No,
but she didn't do
but
that sit up.
she locked in her feet on Bailey's hips to
Yeah.
make sure that she wasn't wobbling and could stay centered, so
Mhm.
Bailey could take the steps. So
Yeah.
I definitely give Bailey credit for being strong. But if Nia doesn't play her part, that thing goes sideways. We've seen it happen before. So you know, it's
And
just
that
one
could've blown
instance
a
of
knee.
MS. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So she has to stay exactly where she needs to be, and to take that power bomb and be part of the match that way. You know, awesome.
Well, and that's one of the things that I noticed too is that Nia took a lot more bumps in that match than I've seen her take in a long time.
Yeah.
Like,
But back to the Punk part of it, I just don't see Punk doing that. I still don't see Punk like, yes, he's in a position now where he's losing, but we talk about it, you know, or the IWC talks about getting over, going over all this shit. Drew McIntyre is not in any better position than he was before this. Seth Rollins isn't in any better position than he was before this. CM Punk is the only one that we continue to talk about because he's the polarizing one in this. So what type of elevation is happening to anyone in this program? It's just giving CM Punk a spotlight to sell more T-shirts to the people who already care about him.
This is in this match or this is in this program? Because Drew is definitely in a better position than he was before the CM Punk program.
Oh, I completely disagree.
Drew was fucking flaccid before this whole thing. We even said that he turned the whole thing around by getting real on Punk. Punk showing up has been the best thing to happen to Drew because Drew's gotten real and he's gotten authentic and he's gotten something we can get behind.
He was getting there before Punk, and his promos were building and building. Had he had this run to the title with Seth Rollins before WrestleMania without Punk being there, it would have been the authentic crowd reaction he was gearing for the last 2 years. You don't think so? I do.
No, because the shit that they were saying together was so fucking dumb, dude. The Seth and Drew stuff wasn't working at all. I'm not trying to give Punk any credit.
The character before the program. Because Seth has helped dumb down that too. But the stuff Drew McIntyre was doing post Gunther from SummerSlam last year was what was really building him up. Punk, but he didn't. Part of that is okay, but before Royal Rumble, it was.
It wasn't until Punk started, or until Drew started cutting all those promos on Punk, that we started seeing that chip. That really started flourishing, and it's not because Punk was doing anything. Matter of fact, we've been saying that Drew's been demolishing Punk on every promo, and I think it's because it gave something to Drew for him to really sink his teeth into, that it feels genuine, whether it is or isn't. It feels like it's coming from a real place. Where none of the other shit he was doing felt like it came from a real place. It felt like more Drew shit. And he was pretty boring at the time. It's not that Punk has elevated Drew because of what Punk has done. It's that Drew has seemingly used his animosity towards Punk to become very real and relatable in that sense. Even though he's supposed to be the heel here, I'm like, this is my guy. Kev, what do you think?
I don't know.
Did you like Drew as much before the Punk program?
I don't know. I'm kind of in the middle on this, truthfully. I don't think that Drew's been elevated by Punk, but at the same time, Drew's just kind of been there and just been Drew the whole time.
I don't think he was elevated by Punk. I think he was elevated through Punk. Punk has done nothing that's really, except for giving himself over for some of those fucking crazy segments where he's all bloody for no reason.
Yeah, but the thing is with Drew is that we're not Drew fans, but the Drew fans have been always pushing him up.
That's true. Drew's had fans. It just wasn't us. He was Mac and fart up until Punk.
Yeah, like I said, I see both sides here because we look down on Drew type of thing. But yeah, I just
maybe I got my timeline mixed up, and it was Punk that brought this out of him, or the Punk situation that brought this out of him. So I just might be wrong.
But I don't think it was Punk's doing. I will give you that. Right. It's not that Punk has elevated Drew. It's that Drew said, this is a chance for me to elevate myself.
That's fair.
And took it in a way where it's just been fucking phenomenal. Drew's doing his best work right now, and I fucking love it. And then he gets wrapped up in a fucking friendship bracelet match, and you're just like, oh, sorry.
I was going to say, is that where we're going? Bracelet on a pole match?
Yeah.
I was going to say bracelet on a fucking do a ladder match. Bracelets up on top.
Yeah.
Bracelet on a sword match.
Then you get that Tom Snow card with CM Punk holding up a bracelet like, yeah, and crying.
Dude, can you imagine a 1 of 20? You got the fucking little
beads.
Piece of, yeah, little beads on the card. Bro, I got the heart. I got the fucking heart. This is the one.
Dude, mine says A. Can I get the J? I got to find the J.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have seen a few people who went through some of those card things and have found all of the patches where you get the full thing. Some of them have gotten the all 20 of the t-shirt one where they can actually see the whole graphic of the shirt. and so you actually kind of like rebuild
That's
it.
pretty cool.
I've seen a few of those
I've seen people do like the hockey jerseys, and
hockey jerseys.
they've gotten like the entire player's name on all
Yeah.
of them. Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah,
that's
that's-
badass.
It's cool to do that. Yeah. Let's wrap up SummerSlam and get into something that's been happening on Raw that I
Grind
feel like
your
I have
gears.
to talk about it. But Gunther beating Priest, I don't think was a bad move by any means. I feel bad for Priest because people shit on his reign, and I thought he was doing a solid job, in my opinion. I don't think Priest had a
Same.
bad run. I don't think he had bad promos. I was behind him. He
So
came
was the
off
crowd.
legit. Yeah.
So
He's
was the
getting
crowd.
a lot of
He-
criticism for his run.
I mean, when
But-
you look at what happened Monday, the organicness of Judgment Day has happened. The heels are now heels being booed, and the baby faces are baby faces being cheered, and that's been happening during their time inside the Judgment Day. And the crowd has been behind Damian Priest for a while. And to your point, Triple H said at the press conference, Damian Priest went from, oh, why did they put this title on him, to he showed you why he deserved to have this title on him.
Mhm.
And I agree, it was a great move. It's something that we talked about too during the Seth Rollins reign of this title. If you put this on someone else, the title means more. And I think it did. I think it did. No, I don't think the title's elevated by being on Damian Priest, but it shows you what that title can do for someone like Damian Priest.
Mhm.
Yeah, go ahead, Kev. What were you going to say?
Well, I was just gonna say, I think it was a little weird that they did the whole, was it A&E 24/7 Priest, and they've alluded to it, and then he drops his title at SummerSlam. I thought that was a little weird to me, but I mean, I've loved Priest as a champion. I've loved him before he was a champion, and I think him losing the way he did with Finn turning on him actually gets more Priest fans than before.
I think so. Yeah. And I will say, as like a side note for Priest, the dude's like what, 41, I think.
Right. Right.
So I don't know how many years he has to really be on top. So there's also just a part of me that's just like real fucking happy he did this. He got it at all. You know what I mean? Because some of these guys, they just won't ever get it. And so he's been able to get that title. I mean, Sammy still hasn't held a singles title outside of Intercontinental. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, Jey Uso hasn't won a singles title. Like, you just don't know how long you're going to be in these things and never hold these big ones. So, like, it's cool that he's able to do this at all. Again, I don't think it was bad to put it on Gunther. I think that I just wasn't done with Priest as a champion yet, which I think actually helps him, because now anytime he's in that conversation, I'm like, yeah, give him one more. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, see, and I think the thing is, you know, putting it on Gunther, fresh off of his historic IC run, kind of, if he you know, it depends on how long his reign is. If it's kind of short, it kind of diminishes his IC run, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think you should have at least kept it on Priest until the next pay-per-view, the Bash in Berlin or whatever. But I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm curious to see where it goes, and I'm not complaining that Gunther won it. Like, he deserves it. But yeah, I just wasn't done quite yet with Priest as the champion.
Yeah. I love all the Keith Lee tweets that have been going out since Gunther won the championship.
If what I'm hearing about WotR is true, I feel bad for him.
Yeah. Because Keith Lee tweeted out a long time ago when they changed his name to Gunther. He goes, man, if what I'm hearing is true, I feel bad for WotR. Yeah. And then it was that they changed his name to Gunther. And then, like, you just look where their careers are, like, from every moment since then. And you're kind of like, yeah, I feel bad. Yeah.
We got a part about.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Favorite part of what?
My favorite part about WotR and Gunther is that they're completely different. As soon as they changed the name, he got in shape and became a absolute professional. Not saying that he wasn't before, but like he took advantage of everything that WWE has to offer when it came to the name change, and becoming this now absolute technician who takes his job even more seriously, Gunther's the best.
We do have a question in the chat. It says favorite finishing maneuver. It says move, so it doesn't have to be maneuver, I guess.
What's up, Reload King 69? I don't even know what
Reload
that means.
I was gonna say the money shot to the face. Yes.
Nice.
No,
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
Kevlar's
But can you reload?
And you reload.
No, it's one and done.
The 1D,
After
yeah.
that-
The 1D.
After
That is the 1D.
Yeah. After that, I need 2 hours in a Gatorade. Favorite finishers. I used to love Sweet Chin Music till the Young Bucks ruined it.
Yeah, that used to be so fucking sick. Yeah.
Sweet Shin Music's badass.
Sweet Shin's good.
Mm.
I still
You
think
know-
the Stunner just has a good visual to it.
You know, one of my favorites still, and no one's adopted it, is the Famouser. Billy Gunn's.
No.
I know somebody else
Billy
does
Gunn,
it.
Every once in a while.
Ziggler did it,
He did.
and
You're
Billy
right.
Gunn did it.
Well, Billy Gunn was the originator of it, right?
Yeah, it was the Fame Asser.
Yeah. You know, I'm an ass man.
Yeah.
My buddy and I came up with if we were ever a tag team, we would be kind of like, what the fuck is it? Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, like
Mhm.
A-Town Down Under, but it would be some Australian themed thing, just so our finisher can be the Famunda from Down Under. And it would be kind of like an X Factor with the Dudley Boys What's Up. So basically like a top rope opponent head to the groin. And that would be the finisher move. So kind of like an X Factor off the top rope. But whether it's into yourself or the buddy, they would get that Famunda from Down Under. So that's my favorite finishing move.
That's pretty good.
I like it.
Yeah. Well, my favorite finishing move was Last Call.
Nice.
Nah.
That's when we loaded up.
Nah.
Let's see.
It's on brand though. It's on brand.
I mean, the match was good. Good guys. All of it was good. I had no issues with it other than the idea. And I mean, it was so fucking crazy with the bloody chest and everything. Like, super well done. The Balor
Who was
thing
he wrestling
was
on house shows? He must have been wrestling somebody on house shows because he was scarred the fuck up when he got there. Was it him and
No,
Priest going after it?
No, on
was
he had a
Balor,
match.
right?
Was it SmackDown or Raw against Balor? They chopped him the fuck up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I missed
That
the
was
Raw
crazy.
beforehand.
That brings us to the main event. Undisputed WWE champion, greatest of all time, Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes, yes.
Against Solo Sikoa in a Bloodline Rules match. This one was kind of obvious in a few regards, which I thought was kind of fun because I was like, all right, so the match is going to go for a bit, and then the Tongas are going to come out, and then that's when Orton and Kevin Owens are going to come out, and I was like, and that's when Jacob's going to come out, and I was like, but who comes out after Jacob comes out? Because that's going to be the big moment. And I remember even sitting there. Go ahead. What?
I was going to say, to me, it was clear that it was Roman the whole time.
I thought it was probably Roman, and I was trying to think of who could it be if it's not Roman. That's what I was thinking. In my mind, I was like, look, I think it'll be Roman. I don't know if Roman's going to be apparent that he's on. He definitely is not going to be pleased with Solo, right? And I was like, but Cody's walking out with that title, and if it's not Roman, who could it be? That was kind of where I was trying to get with. It was what could it be if it's not? But
well, and I thought that as well. And at first, I thought DiBiase Jr., but I think he's in jail.
yeah, he's in jail.
And then I thought Dustin, which would have been cool, but I don't think his contract thing.
It would have took
Is
too
up.
long for him to get to the ring too.
I also don't think he could equalize Jacob Fatu.
You sure?
Dustin Rose going to
What if
take
he
out
was
Jacob
dressed-
Fatu?
What if he was dressed as gold?
Yes. Yeah, I was going to say Shattered Dreams. Game
Yeah.
Just kicks him right in the fucking balls.
over. Yeah.
Yep.
How you doing? Bam.
Great equalizer. It's a hell of an
Yeah.
equalizer.
That's a good finishing move.
That is speaking of
That's good.
finishers.
Yeah, speaking of finishing maneuvers, Shattered Dreams is one to Google if you have not seen it. Reload King 69.
Yeah, not much reloading after that one.
Yeah.
Such a good one.
I was actually
But-
surprised with how good I liked the match overall. But yeah, do you guys think it could have been anyone outside of Roman?
I didn't think it had to happen.
What do you mean?
No point during the interferences were the competitors taken out of the match. Kind of like during the Damian Priest Bad Bunny match, right? Like the interference, yes, while interfering, didn't quite interfere.
Yeah.
So because of that, we didn't need another interferer. So by the time it got to Roman, like it could have just finished out with Cody versus Solo.
But he was still outnumbered. Jacob needed to be equalized.
He equalized himself.
Yeah, he ended up taking himself out.
He equalized himself, and I think honestly, so I'm betwixt and between. I don't think Jacob's cachet in WWE is worth saving contact with Roman, but I think because of what a lot of us know about Jacob, it's worth saving that contact with Roman. So him taking himself out with the table, it could be a not so happy coincidence, but also may have been the story. But then the still that I showed you, I don't think the leg's supposed to go in that direction. So
at the same time, I mean, fucking limbs are all fucking goofy, dude. Like they can hyperextend and come back, and
that wasn't
you
at
catch
the
that
joint,
one moment.
though. That wasn't at the.
Yeah.
It didn't look like it was at the knee.
Really, they look like the knee to me. I'd have to go back
He
and
was
look
holding.
again. But
He was holding his like shin. I think he broke his leg.
you think he broke his shin?
Tibia action. It's
Yeah.
possible. I fucking hope not, because he's been such a good presence. But at the end of the day,
And he looked fucking pissed. That was the other thing
Yeah.
I really took note of. And I was all like, even if he's selling, he looks fucking pissed that this happened because he knows.
he does. Well, that's the thing. He didn't look
Mm.
hurt. He looked pissed, and that's what leads me to believe the injury. But
Well,
And I see what you mean. Yeah, that might not be the knee.
my
Wow.
biggest tell was Sikoa's reaction or Solo's reaction.
right.
What was
What do
his
we do
reaction?
from
Like-
here?
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
on the outside of the announce table, and he looked shocked. Like he looked like, well, what am I supposed to do? And that's when Jacob was like, "Fucking finish him," or hey, get over there, do it, finish him, this
Right.
and that, and he looks like, oh, okay. Like
So it was probably
have to
supposed to
step
be
in.
a Superman punch to Jacob to get him out the ring, and then a whole
Mhm.
situation with Solo to land with the spear. But I mean, look, I think although the interferences were a major part of this, and some would say the point, they had a really good match.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the story as well. Because again, Solo's
Mhm.
been taking a lot of heat since he took over the bloodline. And I remember coming on this show, and specifically, I believe it was episode 1, when Solo was in NXT and being the street champ and talking shit to everyone and holding his own on a microphone and looking incredible in the ring. We haven't seen that on the main roster because he's supposed to have been a brute the whole time.
Mhm.
To give him the opportunity on the microphone now, this story he's been telling has lacked what he was in NXT. So it's not coming off that great. But to give him the opportunity in the ring to show that he is an educated wrestler. He did do his homework. He does know how to compete against someone like Cody. I think is fantastic. So not just, going off of he beat Cena. That's cachet, but wrestling acumen, they were giving him that in this match, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
It's an audio platform, guys. Like
Speak. Say something.
a lot of nodding happened. Yes, I get it. I'm glad you guys agree, but somebody's got to say something.
No, I had no issues with any of the match. And I honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that we just know the numbers thing and the fact it's a Bloodline Rules match, I agree it didn't need Roman. Are you excited to have Roman back here? And do you think that means anything for Cody in the moment? Because I think that this is really going to start going. I think the Roman story is going to go away from the title for right now.
Yeah, I think you get the Bloodline Civil War that they've been talking about. And I'm okay with that, and I think you get the later, hey, we still have unfinished business. Like, I want my rematch type of thing. But
Well,
Go ahead.
I think we're going to get exactly what I've been saying is that Roman back and doing the bloodline thing is going to be more important than Cody as the champion, because Cody as the champion isn't a solid character to draw people in for the moment. Who's he going to wrestle? And who's going to fucking care? And it's not going to be there. Everyone's going to be more worried about Roman and the bloodline. So that's your champ, the greatest of all time. Perfect person for John Cena to beat for number 17. Let's do it.
Well, that'd be good. I do like John Cena.
But, yeah,
Pretty good.
I do
fantasy
like John
booking.
Cena.
Like, yeah,
That's such a great
fantasy
line.
booking, you don't take Cena to take Cody out. You have Cody or Cena pass the torch to Cody. I think Cody's the one that beats him in his retirement match. And
Cody
is it the
already
first-
has the torch.
Yeah.
he
He needs to
has it,
puff
but
puff
not-
pass.
But who's gonna beat Cena in his retirement match?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was Austin Theory
Crazy.
again. I wouldn't be surprised if he went back
The wall.
to the well and tried to really push him this time. Because I mean, didn't Cena lose to Roman a couple times before it actually stuck? I wouldn't be surprised if he went Theory again for the final.
But see, the last time Roman beat Cena was after the Tribal Chief was already like, it was just a solidification. There was no boosting that came from that.
Yeah, but there was like 2 matches before then that Cena had lost that didn't stick.
The Great Balls of Fire match,
Yeah.
that one didn't land at all.
Yeah,
It was a good
that's
match,
what I mean.
but it didn't do anything for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Well, because Roman flubbed it.
yeah.
Flubbed the whole fucking program. And so that's what I wonder is I wonder if Cena's going to be all like, hey, let's fucking make one stick, you know? Because I don't think that it was an accident he lost to him at WrestleMania. I think it's because he thought that he could really help him and it didn't stick. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if for the finale, like I think he's going to have a few matches along the way, but I wouldn't be surprised if the very last one was somebody like an Austin Theory.
But you do give Cena 17 before he's done, right?
You have to.
I think we want him to have it. I don't think he cares to have it.
I don't think he cares to have it, but at the same time, I think WWE cares more that he has it because Ric Flair's been
That's
Ric
Triple
Flair
H's
lately.
best friend, man. That's not going to change. I think it'd be harder to convince Triple H than it will to convince Cena. But to your point, I don't think Cena has that ego, and I think he wants to do what's best for the business. But he's going to compete in the Royal Rumble, and he's going to compete at Elimination Chamber. So I'm sorry, he's going to compete at those pay-per-views. So he's either going to wrestle for the title or start a program. But as we've seen in the last couple of Elimination Chambers, it's been number 1 contenders and title matches, and that's it. So if we're going to do John Cena gratuitous PLE matches, I have no interest in 2025. I want to be invested. And I've said this a few times. I want Randy Orton to get I want him to get the 16 as well. And I would rather see fucking 17 as a ladder match. You know, like both are challenging for a vacant title, and whoever gets that last title is number 17. And if that pay-per-view is December 31st of 2024 and John Cena loses that match, I do not have a problem with that. Like, he doesn't have to be 17, but if 17 needs to be solidified before he walks away. So whether it's Orton or Triple H or Ric Flair, I don't fucking care, but it has to be solidified. Oh, I do. It doesn't.
So you put the title on Punk because Punk will get injured before he loses the title. Exactly. Now you have a vacant title. Boom.
17 on a ladder match. Yep.
But the thing is that Orton's still 3 or 4 away, isn't he?
I think he's at 15. He might be 14. Triple H.
So he has
15.
to get it, drop it, and then go.
He's wrestling Gunther right now, so that'll be one. He can lose
but
that back.
Flip-flop it.
See, I think fast forwarding to Monday Night Raw and everything that Orton comes out, I'm fucking hell yeah because I'm a Orton mark. But I think you solidify Gunther, who's now all of a sudden German and not Austrian, And
That was an interesting
you
move.
you solidify him in Berlin by beating
Yeah.
Orton. As much as I don't want to see it, but I think that's what happens.
Can you imagine Orton wins in Berlin?
Yeah. Here comes Holocaust.
The crowd just is all like,
It'd be amazing.
hey, I want to get you guys' opinion on one thing, just because it's been part of the reason I didn't want to do the podcast for a long time, is because I don't know how to broach this without like just being the bad guy
Herpes.
here.
Oh.
Let's do it. This is our specialty.
And I just
Randy's
feel
at
like
14.
Randy's 14. Yeah, so he's got a couple to
He can
go.
get there.
He's got 2. He could flippy floppy with Gunther.
I mean,
Well, also Orton could go do a stint over in NXT, get that championship. That'll count to his fucking number the way it does for Charlotte.
right?
So fuck.
He wins the Rumble. He wins Elimination Chamber, beating Cena the whole time, and then.
Yeah.
Anyways, go ahead.
I want to know what you guys think about the Wyatt Six, because I feel like that as a fan of Bray, we're being commanded by the talent and the company specifically outlined as do not criticize this, do not look at this very long, accept this and love it regardless of anything we put out,
or
else because this is for Bray.
Mhm.
And in some regards, there's things about it I think are very cool. I like the look of a lot of it. I like that they're still keeping with some of the music stuff. I think the VHS stuff is bullshit. I think it's shitty. I think the VHS effects I think are just actually shitty. I think it actually takes away from what they're trying to present.
Yeah, because I mean, I would see if Bray did something with the VHS in the Funhouse or something, like, poke fun of Pee Wee Herman and be like, "Oh, we got this tape," but he never did that. So for them to sit there and say, "Hey, play this," and then all of a sudden, Michael Cole was there the first time, and was it Corey was with him?
Yeah.
But they're like, "Oh, we need to find a VHS," and then they're like, "Oh, we have or VCR. We happen to have one in the back." I'm like, "You're not carrying that equipment around since 1994,
Right?
Like, you don't have that. If you showed somebody running to the pawn shop and be like, "Do you have a VHS? Cool, or VCR? Cool, we'll take it."
Yeah, right.
But, yeah, the whole tape thing, like, that threw me off from the beginning.
I think it's stupid, and I think it's high school clever. It's clever for a high schooler to be like, "Look, I can make my digital media look like it's VHS." Okay.
The only thing that would have made it better if they rolled out the fucking big tube TV on the fucking little cart and put it at the entryway and be like, "All right, we found one. Let's go."
The problem is, Kev, is they did that for Cody when they didn't have enough room for the Jumbotron, and we saw they didn't
After
have a VCR
WrestleMania.
on it.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
They did that after
Yes.
WrestleMania. Yeah, they did the whole tribute to him and all that shit. It was fucking
Yeah,
stupid.
they put it out.
Oh,
They
you know what,
wheeled out a
actually-
little cart.
Yeah, I did see that now. Yeah.
But
So
I
dumb.
think the dreadlocks are terrible. I think that everyone trying to do what Bray did, I don't think works for me. I think everyone screaming, yeah, doesn't work for me. For me, what I'm having a huge problem with is that the promos are, I'm sad and I miss my brother. I'm sad and I miss my friend.
Mhm.
And so I'm going to pretend to be them now.
And we do too.
And we are also sad and miss them. And that's the part that sucks about watching this is all it does is make me sad.
Mhm.
There's no story. I'm not invested. I think the most clever backstory ones they've done so far was the Gacy and Nikki because they kept it simple and creepy.
Mhm.
These long promos they were doing,
Yeah,
I was like,
Loomis
this
too.
takes me out.
Loomis
I didn't
too.
see Loomis's. I just didn't
It's
see it.
the same thing. Basically the same thing.
Yeah. But these long interviews they did with Bo Dallas, which Bo Dallas is then being interviewed by Uncle Howdy. And Uncle Howdy's all like, and the whole thing was, you're dressed up, I'm dressed up, you're me, we're dressed up. And like tore down the wall, and not in a fourth wall breaking of like blurring reality, but in a not very clever, let's just tell everyone, hey, I'm playing a character and I'm trying to be like my brother, so please don't judge this heavily. And I'm not trying to judge it heavily, but without him having said that, it also feels that way. I feel like there's a guy out there trying to be Bray Wyatt, dressing like him, acting like him, trying to sound like him, but who doesn't have the genius that Bray had. And that's also heartbreaking. So for me, I'm sad because Bray's gone, and I'm sad because there's all these guys who are not as brilliant trying to pull it off and not pulling it off, which makes me also sad. I'm like, fuck, they're not even nailing this. And that's how I've been feeling this whole time. Go ahead, Kev.
Yeah, the thing is that the whole thing with Bray and the Fun House and everything, you were watching, but you were looking at other parts because you were trying to decipher the message. You were trying to decipher the meaning. You were trying to decode it. And as soon as they came out, I think it was Bo, right? Was the first one to come out and, oh, I'm Uncle Howdy. Like, to me, after that was like, there's no mystery behind it. And then even, Michael Cole on Monday, oh, we have Dexter Loomis as this guy, blah, blah, blah. It felt like a curtain call to a fucking play.
Yeah.
And, the whole excitement behind Bray and the Funhouse was they're telling us something that we're not getting. We need to dig deeper. And when they first started showing the images with the QR code and stuff like that, we got that. We got the, hey, everyone put on your Inspector Gadget hats. We need to figure this out. And then as soon as they came out, that was all gone. And
even their QR codes weren't as clever. There used to be some of the podcasts I listened to would do full on hour episodes of trying to break down everything that Bray Wyatt was doing. Since this stuff's come out,
wrong.
Well, I mean, half the time it was wrong, half the time they figured it out, but it was also like, but it was a puzzle, right?
Yeah.
Ever since this stuff's been happening, they've talked like 3 or 4 times about it, just being like, it's an amazing job, everyone's doing a great job. And you go, yeah, that's what they want you to say. Like, because that's all we're allowed to say. And I feel like that sucks because we talk about all the time. We want to watch what we watch. We want to enjoy our shows. We're going to judge what we see on TV.
Yeah, we want to escape reality. And
yeah. And we're not trying to judge the performers unless there's like a fucking injury or something. Then we don't know who to judge, right? But like, we don't judge them as people. We judge them as actors, right? Because that's what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, their job is to portray something, and we're supposed to believe it, basically.
Yeah, believe it, and whether or not they blur the lines or not is up to them.
Yeah.
This, to me, there's no blurred lines and there's no cleverness. I'm having a hard time with this, and I think the more I see, the less I want of it. Where when it was first starting, I was so fucking amped up for it, and I was like, I can't wait for it to start going. The first Bo Dallas interview, I just went, oh no. The second Bo Dallas interview, I went, fuck, we're done. Like, this is it. He said, I just wish I could do, I wanted to be my brother. I wish I could just do his gimmick. And then he just does it. And you're like, well, now you are. And they even have the dreads. Like, there's a difference between homage. Like, there's a step beyond that, right? Like, are you pandering? Are you stealing? Are you just trying to recreate? Are you recasting? You know what I mean? Like, is this fake Diesel and fake Razor? You know what I mean? Like,
to me, the only thing that would, I don't want to say save it because they can go a number of different directions, but I'm thinking Bo needs to like fall into like a full psychotic, like, I need to be my brother, I need to do this, and go from there type of thing. But yeah, everything that they've presented so far, it looks cool.
Yeah, the masks are great.
Yeah, but I think it's very much like the second movie in a sequel, where a lot of times you're expecting something, and when you don't get it, you're disappointed. But I think like beyond that. It's not
Yeah.
that, hey, it's a good movie on its own, but we're disappointed that it wasn't like the original. I think it's, hey, this is a bad movie, period.
It's like Marine 4.
Is that the one with Orton or Miz?
Who knows? Bishop,
Yes.
what do you think about what the Wyatts are doing? Have they pulled up the nose? Am I just off? Am I?
So I haven't said anything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I haven't quite tweeted about it either. And this past Monday, when they had their first match, the guy who was in the documentary, I apologize for not knowing his name, as the co-writer of the storyline, Rob
Oh
Rob
yeah.
B.
Yeah.
He tweeted out like couldn't be prouder or something like that. And that's when I realized this shit ain't about me.
Mhm.
This what they're doing has nothing to do with me. I've come on
Mhm.
this show, my own show. I have a selfie of my face at WrestleMania when Bray's music hit, crying to his
Yeah.
music. Again, we shed tears together over talking about Bray Wyatt. Like, Bray Wyatt's not mine. He's not. I'm sorry. Wyndham Rotunda is not mine.
Yeah.
But as a fan of a thing that's supposed to provide you an emotional response, Bray Wyatt was mine.
Yeah.
And he did that. And what they're doing has taken that away from me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I hear the music. I've been catharticized from the whole process of Bray. I hear the music. It doesn't do anything for anymore. Weeks and weeks. I had to stop watching Raw and SmackDown because every time they played his music, I'd fucking cry. I couldn't watch YouTube clips because you hear the music, you see the fireflies, and then it gets into the vocals, and I just start crying, and I couldn't control it. Watching this whole the whole Wyatt 6 thing, it's done. Like, I don't have that emotional attachment to Bray Wyatt anymore in those same things. Yes, I still have a hard time seeing his picture or hearing his laugh. But watching Bo Dallas cosplay what he thinks Bray would want this to continue to be, I can't. Like, I'm not drawn in. I'm not attached to it. And Bo would know better than I would. Taylor would know better than I would on what Wyndham would want for this, right? He definitely would know. He was there helping to create Uncle Howdy. I get it. Everything they're doing does nothing for me. I feel like the music is sped up. I feel like their performance, they're running while they're doing these things. There's no, like, they're so overhyped to do this. Even Bo, when he was Uncle Howdy before, I felt like he was twisting his hands even slower, right? Now he's like doing this, and he's like finger gunning so fast. And the ability to be drawn in by what they're doing just isn't happening. It's like, here's the Wyatt 6, boom, a million miles an hour. And I'm not getting that same creepy aura nostalgia. I talked about it a million times. Yes, there was Wyndham Rotunda, and he was portraying Bray Wyatt, but Bray Wyatt was even scared that the Fiend was going to show up. And when the Fiend was wrestling, we weren't saying, oh, this is Bray Wyatt in that costume. We were saying, this is the Fiend. The Fiend is different than Bray Wyatt. And that whole transparency is gone. That transparency is fully out here. I talked about it when they first showed up. What should we do? My honest opinion, and I'm not even upset that they didn't go this route, but my honest opinion was we should not hear a fucking word out of anyone's mouth. They should do something for a couple months. And then at the very end of it, they all stand in the ring, they take the mask off, they bow, and they walk the fuck away. Because the more you let us inside on what this is, the less it's going to prove that it was a good idea. Like, we know what this is, right? We do. But don't tell us that you know that we know what this is. To your point, the QR codes, Bray Wyatt was always 5 fucking steps ahead of us. These Uncle Howdy QR codes were right in front of your face. One of them had the letter of everyone's first name, and everyone guessed it within 30 minutes after it happened. Like, one of the websites itself was like, JL, whatever the fuck, blah, blah, blah. And they were trying to fantasy book Alexa into it. But the story itself isn't even being put in good hands. 2 weeks ago, Michael Cole calls Nikki Cross Sister Abigail. And I yell on my couch, she's not Sister Abigail, she's Abby the Witch. And then this past Monday, they call her Abby the Witch. And the fact that you're telling us these things is a fucking problem. Because the only one that ever told us this story ever was Bray. He was the only one to open his mouth about what these were. And now that everyone is opening their mouth, all of the essence of what this is supposed to be is completely wiped clean. So there's no suspense, there is no aura, there is no vibe, there is no fear, there is no, like, it's way too palatable. We're tasting and touching and feeling everything that they're doing, and not in a good way. We need to be caught off guard for a jump scare. Like, this stuff isn't happening. It's just, well, this is what we're doing. Yeah, it's too playful. And this past Monday, I definitely felt like, okay, so you're literally telling us that this is a cosplay of the Wyatts. That's what we're doing. And that in itself is so disingenuous to wrestling, period. But then the legacy of Bray Wyatt on top of that, like, I'll tell you what, I am 100% out. I am not invested in this at all. It does absolutely nothing for me. I'm not looking forward to it at all.
Yeah, it bums me out when I hear them start playing the piano too, because like you said, I don't get that excitement of what are we going to get. I get that, oh, it's not Bray. You know what I mean? Like it hits me in the chest more than it hits me in my mind, you know, and not in the way of all like, because I'm excited, in the way of like, this is going to be a lesser than thing. And it's been lesser than, and like you said, like it's not for us in a lot of ways, but I think that part of it is not only is it so surface value and surface level, it's become obvious that it's strictly vanity. It's only for them in the ring. They even shared all this stuff, even on WWE socials. They showed that after the Raw was over, they're all hugging and crying and pointing up. And you go, okay, that was great for you. But it did nothing for me because all it was not, and all it was a. And
it's
I don't even want to
hard,
call
man.
it an homage. It sucks.
It's hard because, yes, someone like Eric Rowan, he has the opportunity to do this, right? But also, don't call him an original Wyatt member, because that's not who he's supposed to be right now. He's supposed to be Rambling Rabbit. That's who he's supposed to be. He's not supposed to be Eric Rowan. And because that's, again, my problem was it was never Bray Wyatt coming out, taking off the Fiend mask and going, here's the time to play now. That's never what it was. And the fact that they're doing that, cool, I get that. But they go, look, let's peel back the curtain. All right, now let's show you how the sausage gets made too. No, peel back the curtain and show us your process. Show us the finished part. Like you said, it feels like a curtain call for a play where they peel back the curtain and they're not showing us the play. They're peeling back the curtain and they're showing us how they made the play. We don't need that. That's not what this business is. And that's definitely not who Bray Wyatt was. He did all these things that were so fucking meta. Like the one thing I picked up on was that the Firefly Funhouse was a state of mind, right? Like Postman Pierce ends up in there and he's like, I don't even know how I ended up in there, right? Seth Rollins goes in there and burns it down, and then it's rebuilt the next week because it's a state of mind. It's the essence of what his brain was going through. This is like, nah, man, we're gonna come out dressed up as my brother's characters, and then we're gonna do some shit, and then we're gonna go in the back, and then, oh, by the way, there's gonna be a VHS somewhere. When when that happens, I'm like, well, here we go. And then it jumps right into the piano, and it goes so fast that the ominous is gone. And again, the crowd loves it, right? The co-writer loves it. I got a buddy who I work with who went to Baltimore. It was in Baltimore. I had zero desire to go, right? Like, but he went and he was excited. He got his tickets right after WrestleMania for Baltimore. And he was like, you know what? Wyatt Six first match? Pretty cool. I'm glad to be there. He said nothing about it. He just showed pictures of Sheamus, you know, because he was like right next to the ring. So like, I don't know. I don't know what to say because I know how much it means to everyone else. And I'm not here to have a pissing contest on what Bray meant to people. But the fact that the crowds are eating this up, cool. But I tell you, for me at home, man, like it does nothing for me. And it just, not that it sucks, but like, if this is how you're going to wipe the slate clean for me when it comes to Bray, that sucks.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. When I keep saying that it just sucks, I don't mean that they suck. I mean it sucks because it just keeps making me feel like I'm getting less than, and I keep just getting sad about it, and I keep just watching it, just wishing it was not what I'm seeing. Yeah, I mean that it's just a bummer to watch, and like you said, it's not for us, and I think that comes across so heavily that that's also a bummer. Is you just watching, go, well, I guess I just have to watch them grieve for a while. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to be inhumane about it. Like, I have nothing but respect for everyone involved in it. It just isn't what he did.
Yeah.
Oh, let's hear from Kev for a minute. Kev, what do you think about all of it?
No, I agree with you guys 100%. And Marsh, you and I had this conversation yesterday, and I used the comparison of, you know, obviously the meaning's completely different, but when somebody does something that is African American and you say, "Hey, I don't like it," people immediately point the finger and say, "Okay, you're racist." And I think here with the Wyatt Six, like, yes, we should all be on board. Yes, we should all love it. But as soon as you go against the norm and say, "Hey, I don't like this," all of a sudden you get this pushback of,
Yeah.
"Hey, you hate Bray Wyatt. You didn't like this. You're
Yeah, how dare
negative, this and this." Yeah, and I'm like, I'm like, guys, like, take it for what it is. Is it for you? Maybe. Is it for me? No. And I keep looking at it, and at this point, I'm thinking, is there a way to save it? And I don't think there is, because there's so many people that are 100% on board. Hey, we love it. You know, nothing they can do is wrong, because if I say they are wrong, then I'm going to get ostracized for it. And I think maybe the only thing that might save it, that might bring any kind of full circle moment, is Braun Strowman. And I don't know in what capacity, I don't know how, but I think he has to get involved somehow in order to save it in my eyes. If that makes any sense.
I don't even
it's an
know if it
odd
would
thing.
save it, but I do feel like that Braun and Alexa need to be involved, and I feel like they need to be the ones to kill the
Yeah.
Wyatt Six.
Yeah,
I mean, like, you put in
well.
Wyatt and Alexa, or Braun and Alexa, and they destroy the Wyatt Six, and then you can maybe move on from it. But I don't
And
know if it would save it.
she was his kryptonite in the fight. See, again, so man, I've been under a lot of stress lately. It was why I wanted to do this, but I didn't even think I'd have these feelings talking about this shit. The House of Horrors match. It was the flashing images of Alexa as Braun's sister Abigail that was his undoing. Like they were Team Little Big in the Facebook challenge thing, right? Like that connection is there. But it also, yes, right. The fact that the Wyatt Six has been around on Raw, so has Strowman, and they've never been intertwined whatsoever, I do think is that part of that storytelling, and there is an opportunity. But of all the things I've seen with Braun Strowman, I don't think he can. Everything that has to do with Bray, I don't think he can. Like he is, for lack of a better way to put it, emotionally attached in a way that I see it, as opposed to these people who are cheering so much. You know, like he's so entwined with everything Bray meant to him that, like, I don't think he can pull back. And fair or not, otherwise, I don't know. That's up to him. But I don't think there's a way. Like, I don't think there's a way to save it. I just don't. Like, Marsh, I was just thinking as you guys were talking, when you met Santos Escobar before WrestleMania, and you told him, "I'm loving everything you're doing on NXT with the Tony D'Angelo storyline," and he said to you, you know, the fact that, like, this is some of the best work of my career. I appreciate you saying that, right? Something to that effect.
Yeah.
If you were to meet Bo Dallas right now and he goes, "Hey, what do you think?" Like, if he was to say that to me, the only thing I could say is, like, "I'm glad you get to do this."
Yeah.
Like, because I'm glad they can all do this. Again, when they showed the picture of them at Whataburger or whatever restaurant it was, you can see how happy they were to be able to do this. And I will never take that away from any of them. Again, you just said it. There's pictures of them crying afterwards, pointing to the sky. Okay. I'm glad you get to do this. I'm glad AEW exists for wrestlers to go get paid. That does not mean that I have to co-sign everything that comes aboard. And that's probably as plainly as I can put my feelings for what comes on TV when it comes to this. It is as not need to see. It sucks. It sucks.
I was watching Raw right before we got on because I was trying to finish it. And I was watching it with my 8-year-old son, and he even asked me, why did they take their masks off when they went to the ring? And I was like, I have no fucking idea. And he's like, cool, because, in his little brain, he's like, well, now I get to see who they are. And I'm just like, being, knowledgeable beforehand, I'm like, well, we know who they are. And yeah, this is stupid. Like,
And even
like
Michael Cole trying to explain away why Joe Gacy identifies as Huskus the Pig and understands about leading cults or whatever the fuck. It's like, that's still not what this is. That's still not what it's ever been. It's not about people identifying with characters. It's been about the essence of the Fiend having control of energy throughout wrestling. It would make more sense to have his opponents be the ones affected. Randy Orton should have been the Rambling Rabbit. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like there should have been all of these like natural homages. Like, why is Dexter Lumis Mercy the Buzzard? Because he wasn't allowed to talk? Okay, but that's not.
He's a struggling artist, is what they try to say.
Yeah, but also Mercy talked.
Yeah,
right, and
it so did Waylon.
And it was the fucking launch pad for Bray Wyatt to actually break through. Was the Mercy character? Yeah. Yes, he was saddled with something, but what did he do? He fucking made it into gold.
Yeah,
it created the whole Bayou version of the family. So, like, I get it. They're trying to honor these characters in a way and let us know why. I get it. It's too palatable. It's all right there in front of you. And the actual essence of what the Fiend was does not exist. And that's where all of this was created, was in that essence.
Yeah, and that's what I mean by at the end of the day, it's just not clever. I've not watched a single thing any of them have done and had to think for 2 seconds, what did they mean? They just said what they mean right out. Like you said, Michael Cole. Oh, that's Dexter Lumis. He identifies as Mercy the Buzzard. Okay.
That's his pronouns.
Yeah. Pronouns. Okay. I guess. Like, I mean, I assumed that before because we already covered that part. Like, there's nothing about it that makes you go, why? And the whole thing about all those characters that were so fascinating was just the very fact that you had to look at it and think of Bray's career entirely and figure out how he identified to these characters and how it manifested these demons through his struggles, through his insecurities, through all that stuff. And then you just have this other group of people show up and just be like, I like this one. And you go, okay, well, that's that, I guess. Like, there's nothing clever. You don't have to think about it.
And here's a big measuring stick that WWE goes by a lot of the times. Will either of you buy a Wyatt Six shirt right now?
Not now.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Week 1 or 2, I would have.
Yeah.
But by the time they end up on clearance, I won't.
It took 2 weeks. So first week I wanted to see what the merch looked like to make sure that, like, in support, I would still want to wear, because just personally I have way too much shit. So if I'm not going to wear it, I'm not going to buy it. And then by the second week that they did some shit, I was out. I didn't get it. I didn't understand what I was supporting.
Yeah. And even if they said, like 10% of the proceeds would go to Wyndham's family and stuff like that, I think I would still be struggling to justify the purchase.
I'd rather
Like-
buy Bray stuff than Wyatt Six
Yeah.
stuff for
Yeah,
sure.
100%. I'd
Yeah, they
rather
have Bray shirts
100%
up there. I'd rather buy that.
And
yeah.
honestly, I think they're making it apparently clear on accident that this isn't Bray stuff. This is
Yeah.
Wyatt Six stuff, and that's maybe that's my fault. Maybe that's my
Mm-hmm.
fault for wanting to hold on to Bray too much. But this is literally Wyatt Six stuff. This isn't Bray stuff, and it's a bummer. You know, there's okay. Let's back book the fantasy book. Let's say Bray's still with us. If he chose Dexter Loomis as Mercy, if he chose Joe Gacy as Huskus, then he would find that creative way to over 3 weeks give us the breadcrumbs to show that this is exactly why that person would be there. And to Marsh's point, the lack of creativity here is just like, well, this is Huskus the Pig, and he was once Joe Gacy who had a family in NXT. This is Dexter Loomis. He doesn't talk much, so he's Mercy the Buzzard.
Mhm.
Also, when you do that, and these guys wrestle like they used to wrestle before without changing moveset and actions, then you're literally just putting them in a costume. And that bums me out even more. Dexter Loomis crawling around on his knuckles, like, I'm sorry, man. That's not what Mercy should be doing if you're going to adapt to the character. But like you guys said, hey, they took the masks off. Now here we are. Well, what's
that
the
killed
X
the
on
whole
your head
match
mean?
for me, dude.
Yes.
The second he did that, I was like, oh fuck. I was like, I guess it sort of works, but I don't know.
The running
Like, I
senton.
wasn't feeling it at all.
The
Yeah.
running senton that Gacy did, right? It took me a while to remember that. I believe he did that in NXT as well. But it's also something that Bray used to do with grace, power, and speed. It looked like he would float for a bit and then fall down.
Yeah.
But Gacy did it so fast, it just reminded me, well, the music sounds faster. These guys aren't walking as slow as the Fiend would. It just boom, drilled right into me. Why are they moving so fast? Where is that patience to it? And then the Gacy spot where he went upside down in the corner, it actually was relieving to see that. Because
I like that spot.
yeah, it was a good spot. But again, even after that, I believe is when the more of the Loomis stuff happened. And the hot tag for Rowan, cool for the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was homages to Luke Harper, cool.
Mm-hmm.
But what are we doing? What are we doing? And why are we doing it? And no offense to Chad Gable. This guy had something hot going leading into WrestleMania. They disband his over catchphrases, thank you and shoosh, right? He doesn't have those anymore.
Yeah.
And then they just re-put him with more people. But Tiffany Stratton point, they take these baby faces, they make them heel to make them heel to learn from a veteran. And what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like the Creed brothers were having bad match, worse match, worse match, worse match. Holy shit, really good match. They're now comfortable on the main stage to not on TV, now a heel faction with Gable for what? So they can be 3-on-3 with the Wyatt Six? Is that it? Like there's nothing here. There's no story here. Even if this is they're targeting people who have disbanded with their family, and then Jey Uso perfect. Like, I told him he could have I told Unky he could have the Fireflies back. Like, I'm out of this, right? Like,
yeah, I'm out. Like,
but that's not.
brilliant.
Yeah, it was great.
So funny.
But it's also not helping the Gable part of the story. What are they saying about Gable? Nothing. They just keep attacking him. So, like, what are we doing? What is it that we're actually doing? And
yeah, see,
that was my honest thought at the end of Raw. Is I remember once they won, I was like, I don't even know why they fought.
Right.
yeah,
We just chased them.
there would be more of an aura if they didn't have an actual match right now. And truthfully, when people were deciphering everything, and they had CG should be appreciative or whatever, and everyone's like, okay, that's clearly Chad Gable. I thought they were going to do more of a cult following type of thing. And Chad Gable was going to be the next member because I think that was before they called him the Wyatt Six even. And I thought they were gonna like start all of a sudden picking off these outcasts and saying, "Hey, almost like fuck, what the hell were they called? T-Bar and
Retribution.
Retribution, yeah. I was thinking almost like more of a Retribution type of thing, but like in a creepy aspect of, all right, Chad Gable is now the black sheep of American Alpha. He's not appreciative of what he has. And a lot of what Bray was trying to preach was almost biblical, where I'm going to show you this because of this type of thing. And hey, you're unappreciative of who's around you. Well, you should be thinking this way type of thing. And I thought Chad Gable was actually going to be the next member of the Wyatt family.
Yeah, almost like a reverse cult where it's like, if you can't treat your own family good, we're gonna bring you in and we're gonna make you treat our family good,
Yeah.
Right.
Like, yeah. Hey, you don't fit the socialistic norms, join us type of thing. And I was like, all right, cool, I could get behind that, because Chad Gable, amazing talent, love the dude, just can't find the right footing ever.
Yeah.
And I thought, like I said, as soon as I saw the CG thing and everyone's like, oh, that's clearly Chad Gable, I'm like, oh, cool, they're gonna bring the outcasts and the people that should be good but aren't for whatever reason into this fucking, Dungeon of Doom type of thing. And they did like the exact opposite, and I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Part of the problem, I think, was when, I mean, we can speculate whatever the fuck, it doesn't really matter. For Gable's sake, had he won the Intercontinental Championship and had the ability to continue to use his talents to have great matches and push through and become that top tier wrestler type, because again, Sammy's now putting his character place above that. Well, we've seen Gable have great matches all the time, but when has he ever really solidified himself outside of American Alpha? And he just hasn't. And he did it with the gimmick, but allow us to have gimmick and wrestling, and they kept taking that away. So when they kept taking that away, okay, now gimmick turn heel. I get it. Not everyone can be a babyface. Not everyone can be a heel. Not everyone can be a champion. But when you have characters like a Chad Gable who's getting himself there organically in a way where we can have the opportunity to solidify another member of the roster, then fucking do it. I used to say about Jinder Mahal, right? Like, yes, it's a terrible wrestling take to say Jinder Mahal should be champion all the time, but having that once allows that Rock promo to happen. When Jinder Mahal comes out and goes, I am the champion that they were talking about. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Like, that moment alone, Kofi being a champion, like those things matter. So being able to solidify them in that space, now, so again, what do we have with Chad Gable? We have another, like, well, what are we doing with Chad Gable? Because we don't do anything with Chad Gable. It sucks.
Yeah. Especially because he's so good, and his matches are always fucking killer. And at the end of the day, like you said, you got no accolades to strap onto him. You can't say this guy just beat a former anything other than a former almost Olympian. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
right.
I think he actually went to the Olympics. I don't remember if he actually performed in the Olympics.
Was he a bronze medalist?
Did he get bronze?
I think so.
I can see that.
Well, I know he definitely represented the U.S. and because he has the Olympic rings on all of his gear.
Yeah, I know he trained for the Olympics. He was part of the Olympic team. I know that. I don't remember if he competed. I'm looking it up right now.
He had to.
I wanted to look.
I mean, if he didn't compete and he's got all the Olympic rings on all of his gear, like,
he was the Olympic trials champion in 2012. So I don't know what that means.
Yeah. That's what I mean. He's part of the Olympic team, but I don't think he actually placed in the Olympics. He just went to the Olympics on the team.
on the team. Yeah.
But I thought he,
Which is not something to scoff at. That's fucking hard
No.
to do.
Yeah. Hell
no,
yeah.
100%. But I thought that he represented the U.S. at the Olympics. Not necessarily
think
that
he
he won a
did.
medal or anything like that, but that he was at the Olympics and, hey, I'm here. Obviously, we didn't place, but I don't know.
Yeah, because he was the Olympic trials champion, so he won the trials. But in 2012, I don't think that he won a medal after that. He got in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
He
he
was like-
represented the U.S. at the Olympics.
Yeah. He's a fuck badass, dude. I wouldn't fuck with him. I'd fuck with Punk. I'll tell you that right now.
He was eliminated from the competition in the next round by someone from Cuba. So he had one round at the Olympics.
At the Olympics, yeah. And I'm okay with that. Like, hey, that's a feat in itself. Like,
Yeah,
you represented
right.
the United States.
Yeah, he defeated someone from Micronesia in the qualification round, and then he was eliminated in the next round by someone from Cuba. Yeah. So shouts for being one of the most badass wrestlers on the planet.
Yeah. Fucking badass. And that's the other thing that's a bummer about him is he's such a badass. That's why I thought he should have won the Intercontinental and not Sammy.
Yeah.
Because I think if even Chad had the same exact run that Sammy had and even lost it where Sammy lost it, it'd have done more for Chad than it would have for Sammy, I think. But
Well, and I think, we talked about it before where Sammy's Sammy, and I think it would have meant a lot more for Chad's career.
And honestly, Sammy would be in the same position he is right now, where he can join Jay to take on the Judgment Day to get tag team championships.
Yeah, exactly.
That literally could have happened without him winning the IC title. And not for nothing, Chad Gable versus Braun Breaker. Yes, please.
That'd probably be fucking good.
Yeah, no, that'd be
good.
And because Braun Breaker's got amateur background too. And he moves in the ring the way I've always wanted to see older Brock Lesnar. With the explosive power and wrestling moves at the same time. It'd been great. So, hey, maybe we get there, maybe we don't. But that's kind of the other hang up with the Wyatt Six is that, the Chad Gable character always goes through these ups and downs that we don't even know, like, what their real motive is anyway.
Yeah. Yep. But where do you go from here? So,
I don't know that we've gone anywhere at all to begin with.
Yeah. The one thing I will say is I'm glad that it wasn't like a complete squash match where Wyatt Six just ran over them and be like, hey, we beat you guys.
Yeah.
We debuted it. This is what people wanted. There was a little back and forth, and I appreciate that. But I think the Wyatt Six needs to be the, what was his name? Adam Rose that had all the misfits.
Social
and shit
outcasts.
like that. Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly.
The social outcast,
Curtis Axel, the social outcast.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we'll take all the rejects, and the minority will become the majority. Type
He's
of
trying to call himself a radical mongoose.
Yeah.
Those kind of things live forever. I mean, the B team came out of that. Like, there's opportunity again to create something. And it just doesn't seem like it's sitting there. It sucks, but
to me,
and I will fully admit, for everyone who loves this, go for it.
Yeah,
I'm good. Because I've watched, I've seen, we've talked about it. I've even tried to be convinced otherwise, but I mean, even Bo changing the Uncle Howdy mask to show full mouth in a way where you're not even trying to be Uncle Howdy, right? And then what does Uncle Howdy do? He sits down in Bray's rocking chair again. Well, this is where the Wyatt family debuted, so we're going to debut the Wyatt Six here. You're not even trying. You're not even trying to blur lines. You're literally telling us we are going to copy and paste. Hey, if it's for an homage for Bray, great. It doesn't feel that way. It feels like you're trying to copy and paste to continue doing a thing.
It feels like
And-
a recasting. That's
Yeah.
what really bothered me. Is in the first interview he said, "I wanted to be my brother. I wanted to be Bray Wyatt. I wanted to do what he did." And then everything he's done since then has been a copy paste something Bray Wyatt did. And I think to me, it'd have been much better if he did these things and didn't say that line. Because once he says that line and then does all these things, I go, "Oh shit,
Yeah,
that's
this is
cosplay Bray."
exactly what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't want to think that about it. I want to think he's doing an homage, but he's doing a recasting because he said the line, "I always wanted to be him, and now I get to be him." You're like, okay.
Well, like I said, when I saw the Bray Wyatt documentary, my comment afterward was, okay, you wanted to let us know that it's okay to watch them continue this afterwards. It was more of a like, hey, Bo Dallas is going to continue this, so be okay with that. That's what the documentary felt like to me. You know, that part of that emotional attachment really wasn't quite there because it fucking documentary ended with Uncle Howdy. Like, okay, so you're just telling me that this is going to keep going and it's okay to watch. Okay. It's just, it's gone, man. I'm sorry. I wish it was there and I wish I enjoyed it more. But I'm not even trying to pick it apart because they're telling me all the pieces and it's not there for me.
Yep.
No. You know what this reminds me a lot of is AEW, where hey, this is gonna make the boys laugh in the back, so we're gonna do this. And this reminds me of like, hey, this is gonna make two people that we know think of Bray and appreciate it. And they've run with it. And I just, like I said, the best thing is I can compare it just to a movie sequel once again, where you want to love it so much, and when it doesn't live up to the hype, you get disappointed. And I hope that's where I'm at, not just seeing everything else that we just talked about, but I just don't know.
Yeah. I really wanted so much out of it, and I've been disappointed a lot. And all I hear is people talking about how amazing everything is, and I feel like they're talking from their heart and not from where they're even watching it. And it's like, yeah, like you said, 100%. I'm happy you guys can do this. It's like you said before too. We judge what we see on TV based off what we watch TV for. At the end of the day, this is, if I hear the rest of the show is White 6, I might not watch. I'm happy you get to do it, but it's really just not. I'm not hooked in any way, shape, or form, and nothing has even broached the idea of getting me there. But I think I'm ready for last call. We can see if this thing blossoms into something else at some point. Definitely won't blossom in episode 2. Kiro coming through, asking if I'm even a ref anymore. Tell him right now, I still call it down the middle. Still call it as I sees it. I'm still calling them. But yeah, I don't know. We don't do some weird shit on the out, right? Bishop, tell them where they can find you.
At TW Takes Podcast on X or Twitter, however you want to call it, twtakes.podcast.com for all audio platforms. I think the site still works. I paid for it for a while. So, you know, it was great to get on here. Nice little escape from life. We got to do it a little bit more often.
Absolutely. We'll have to come back. Kevlar, you don't want people finding you no matter what, right?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, don't look.
Send a courier pigeon my way. That's about it.
Are you related to Megan? Because of the 3, you know, like the M3 game? You know, the robot. Yeah, you got your 3 in Kevlar.
Yeah, the robot's actually his daughter.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, I had sex with a computer one time. She came out.
Whoa. Have you seen the movie Control Alt Delete?
No.
There's Tyler, you know Tyler Labine?
No.
Yeah.
But I like beans.
Tyler Labine, he made a movie called Control Alt Delete where he's obsessed with fucking computers. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Well, we're going to find
awesome.
that. We're going to find that. And you can find us at WOTR, the show. I'm at Ref Marsh. This has been an episode 1 right here in the dive bar of the IWC. Come back and check in again. We got Thursday Night Chaser, which happens, sporadically, but so do we. So, guys, thank you for being our drinking buddies tonight.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Producer Lady here. Thanks for tuning in. Continue to support and buy us a drink by putting the I in subscribe and reviewing our podcast. And cheers to